you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Don't you come back no more. What you say?
And welcome to sun-splashed Frank R. Campbell Stadium on the North Campus of Averett University in Danville, Virginia, as we are getting ready for ODAC football this afternoon as the homestanding Averett Cougars welcome the Generals of Washington and Lee to Danville in the ODAC opener for both teams. Averett coming in after a week off. Last time out, they knocked off Brevard on the road 17-14 in the mountains of Western North Carolina. A stellar performance by the Cougar defense, who pitched a shutout in the second half to earn their third consecutive win and to match their best start since 2004. In that 2004 season, the Cougars managed to jump out to a 4-0 record. That's the goal this afternoon as they welcome the Generals from Lexington, Virginia. Generals dropped their season opener but took down the Apprentice School last week 28-9. If you're looking for comparative scores, Averett knocked off the Apprentice School by a 34-14 score in the season opener on the road. All-time W now with a 4-2 advantage in the series over Averett. Only one of those 6 games was held in Danville, and that one was won by Averett. Last year, in Averett's first game as a member of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, they took it on the chin as the Generals pinched a shutout in Lexington, 31-0. Before we get to the Patrick Henry portion of the pregame show, we're going to give you some numbers that have just been absolutely staggering. It has been our pleasure to watch Bryce Jackson quarterback these Cougars the past 3-4 seasons, really. And earlier this year, the fifth-year senior became Averett's all-time leader in passing yards in Week 1. Now he's closing in on 2 more long-held program records. Jackson has 421 career completions. That ranks him just behind Hall of Famer Scott Swan with 424. So the third completion tonight will tie the record. The fourth will break it. And right now, Jackson stands at 42 career touchdowns. That ties Hall of Famer Todd Parsons for the all-time record here. So if Jackson can pitch a touchdown catch tonight, he is going to be the sole holder of that record. Moving on up in the Averett all-time standings. On the defensive side of the ball, Averett has had a big play defense this year, using the bend but don't break mentality and getting big plays where possible. Averett leads all ODAC schools with 12 sacks this year after they picked up 4 in last week's win over Brevard. Jalen Russell, a fifth-year senior, leads the conference with 4.5 sacks, giving him 9.5 for his career, puts him on the cusp of cracking the top 10 in program history. So another fifth-year Averett stud ready to stake their name and etch it into the record books. A beautiful Chamber of Commerce afternoon here in Danville, Virginia. Couldn't ask for better weather, 77 degrees here at kickoff. Let's take a few moments now to hear from the coach of the Averett Cougars, Patrick Henry, as we get ready for Week 4 football from Danville.
Hey everyone, I'm Drew Wilson, Director of Athletics Communications. Joining me is head football coach Patrick Henry, and we're going to walk 100 yards and talk about this week's game. So coach, obviously we haven't talked in a few weeks. You had the bye week this past week, but prior to that, big road win at Brevard. Just talk about, holding off Brevard in that one.
Absolutely. As coaches, we always go back and evaluate the film, and, we felt like we left some points out there on the board. And, we didn't help our defense out, but it was a true team victory, from special teams, pinning them inside the 2, and then having to get a stop late. And so it was a team victory, and so it was really good for our kids to handle some adversity.
Obviously, Averett now 3-0 to start the season, best start since 2004. Coach, how do you celebrate that excitement of a 3-0 start, but also know that now conference play is starting in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference and focusing on that? It's almost like a new season starting.
Absolutely, like I told the kids, it's one day at a time, it's one team at a time, and the focus for our football team has been on us. We have to control us, block out all extra, everything outside, and like I talked to them, the atmosphere this week, it's family day, they got the food rodeo going on. I said, you got to be able to block out all that and focus on your job for 60 minutes. And so the focus this week and through the bye week has been, we've got to control us. We have to focus on Averett football.
Yeah. Obviously this week, open up ODAC play with Washington Lee coming to Frank R. Campbell Stadium. Just talk to me, what are the keys to success for you guys to have success against Washington?
Absolutely. You know that we've played them, and they are extremely well coached, and they play extremely hard. So they force you to do your job, and when you don't, they will make you pay big. And so what we've got to do is, we know they're going to run the football. They run the football on everybody they play. So for us to be successful, we have to stop the run, and that means no chunk plays. They're going to run the football. But that's no 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-yard gains, and then we've got to keep the pass game in front of us. They have a lot of success offensively when their run game's going and they get a play action and it's a deep one over the top, 70, 80-yard touchdown passes. So we've got to do a good job of preventing chunk plays.
Obviously, defensively, you all have played really well. I think only one touchdown in the second half all season through the first 3 games. Just talk about how proud you are of how the defense has played
Absolutely.
this year.
They've been able to rally as a group, and at halftime have really good conversations and adjustments, and everybody comes out of the locker room and they're really on the same page. It's been really cool, from our staff to our coaches to our players, to getting everybody on the same page, and they're really executing their second half adjustments.
One last thing, obviously, we talked last time, Bryce Jackson had set the career yards mark. He's tied now for the career touchdowns, and he's only, I think, 4 completions away from that career record as well. Just talk about his play throughout his career and this, what you expect from him this week.
Yeah, Bryce and I have been together for a long time. We've been through a lot together. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him the way he's carrying himself. I'm proud of the way that I've got to see him grow up, and he's earned everything that he's received. He knows that it's not just him, it's his teammates, and he knows that the more our run game gets going, that sometimes easier it is to throw. So he's done a great job, and he understands that all those records that he has are team records, and can't be more proud of the way that he's carried himself and the way that he's handled that.
All right, well, that's 100 yards with Averett head coach Patrick Henry.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Coach. Y'all took forever to go 100 yards that time. Anyway, it's good to take your time. We'll start off by looking at the starting lineups for this afternoon's action. The Averett Cougars have had a pretty consistent lineup this year. And, again, we'll try to keep up because we do a running back by committee. You don't know who's going to be in the backfield from one drive to the next. That's because we've got 3 or 4 players that have given us super production. Quarterback, of course, Bryce Jackson. We've already talked a lot about him. We will talk more about him as the night goes on and as the records begin to fall by the wayside. In the backfield, we got basically a 2-3-headed monster. Draylon Martin and Isaiah Litton will get the bulk of the carries. The Alaskan assassin, Gabby Soto, will come in and get a few. And Shai Watlington, a sophomore, will get even our 4th-string running back is a dangerous one. Now, the receivers for the Cougars have been stout this year and at times spectacular. Number 1, Sean Watlington from Danville, Virginia, a junior, has been sort of the Chris Carter of the receiving corps. All he does is catch touchdown passes. Well, he catches non-touchdowns too, but 8 of his catches this year, 4 of them have gone for touchdowns. Rounding out the receiving corps, veteran targets, number 17, Nick Andrews, number 18, Tavian Goffigan. Tight end Christian Williams gets the start. We'll see a little bit of Calvin Speed in there at times. But that offensive line for Averett has been stout this year. There's a whole lot of experience there going right to left. Number 74, Vincent Nguyen, a senior. Number 51, Jonathan Thomas, another senior. Number 70, the center, Matthew Isom, a senior. Number 73, DK Byers-Henderson, a fifth-year senior. And left tackle, rounding out the offensive line, Johnny Alston, again, a senior. An all-senior offensive line, which has protected their quarterback better than the Secret Service protects Biden. 0 sacks so far for the Averett offensive line this year. And again, some of that's a function of Averett going a little bit more towards the run game. We had several games last year where Bryce Jackson put up 40, 42 passes. That's not the game plan this year. We're establishing the run and doing it quite well and having Jackson sort of pick and choose his passing situations. So the Averett offense has been steady, not spectacular this year, but well enough. 34 points against Apprentice, 34 against Greensboro. Last week they had some issues against Brevard. It was kind of an unusual second quarter in that Averett had 2 drives of 8 minutes or longer, but they couldn't get any points out of it. As Brevard forced a missed field goal one time and then a turnover late in the possession ended the other drive. So the Averett offense has been good for the most part this year. Again, a run-based offense. We'll see a lot of Draylon Martin. We'll see a lot of Isaiah Litton. And they will go out of the backfield, too. Bryce has no qualms at all about hitting his backs out of the backfield. As we switch to the Averett defense, we see, again, a whole lot of experience, and this is a defense that has just been at times nasty. Bend but don't break for the most part. We had 3 drives last week against Brevard where the Cougars was surrendered like 8, 9, 10-minute drives, but they held Brevard to 0 points in the fourth quarter, and that was enough to come out of there with a very impressive and hard-fought 17-14 road win. The defensive ends for the Cougars this year have been very disruptive. Number 9, Jalen Russell, fifth-year senior, leads the ODAC with 4.5 sacks. His bookend, number 7, Dondre Burris, has been a solid senior performer out of Gastonia, North Carolina. In the middle, we'll rotate the pinchers, the 2 defensive tackles, quite a bit. Mike Cotton and Ezekiel Williams will get the bulk of snaps, but you will see an awful lot of Tony Totten, just up the road in Cascade, Virginia, went to Tunstall High School. He is part of that rotation at defensive tackle along with Justin Donovan. Lamar Horner has been an absolute stud at middle backer, leading the Cougars in tackles by a wide margin. He has been stout, and he's flanked by some talented first-year starters. Seth Harden, a senior, starts at 1 outside backer, and Kumar Price, a fifth-year senior out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina, has been very much a defensive playmaker this year for the Averett Cougars. Coin toss is going on right now. Washington and Lee as one, and the Generals have elected to receive. So we'll start off seeing Averett's special teams kicking off to Washington and Lee. A couple more notes about the Averett defense. The secondary has had some big plays this year. Again, the passing-wise, Averett only surrenders about 140 passing yards per game, but the 2 corners have been tested hard. We got a freshman starter, number 28, Jonathan Guest, out of Columbia, South Carolina, who's worked his way into the starting lineup. Bookend cornerback, Namari Borders, a fifth-year senior out of Shelby, North Carolina. Free safety, a whole lot of experience there in Kerry Dickinson. He is the quarterback of the defense. He hails out of Centerville, Virginia. And strong safety, a good early season performance this year from Kendall Spriggans, 5'10", 163-pound junior from Virginia Beach. The Averett Cougars dressed in their usual home garb, the golden pants, golden numbers, and those blue bonnets on their head, along with those beautiful navy blue tops. We are ready for football. Second home game of the year for the Cougars and the ODAC opener. Washington and Lee, of course, coming in with a 2-1 record, and they are one of the blue bloods here in the ODAC. This is a team that's been in the ODAC for some time, and the ODAC, again, compared to USA South, a step up in terms of week-to-week competition, and W&L is one of the longtime members of the ODAC that the Cougars are now recruiting against directly. Will Cavanis, fifth-year senior, has it teed up on his own 35-yard line. Averett will be going towards the south end of the stadium. Gets a boot into this one, and it's going to angle. Does it get into the end zone? It does not. Oh, the official says it hit on the wrong side of the pylon, so instead of starting 1st and 10 at the 20, W&L will have the ball at the 35. W&L is a run-first offense. They want to establish the run. Their quarterback is got some size on him. Stephen Murrin, a 6'3", 210-pound senior out of Fort Worth, Texas, will guide the Generals today. and he'll be handing it off to a lot. They have a lot of running backs they utilize. Jacob Romero and Anthony Crawford, a very exciting freshman out of Pennsylvania, are the main running threats for the Generals. Number 6, Stephen Murrin, will set up behind center. He'll be joined in the backfield by Jacob Romero to begin things here. Only one wide out here, 2 tight ends out of this formation. Actually a 3 tight end formation. One of them is going to be an H-back. That's Cameron Reed. But Murrin sets him down. He goes into the shotgun. And in motion, fake the handoff to Romero, throwing it over the middle. It's going to be caught by one of the wideouts, and he'll get deep into Averett territory. Marcus Payne with the catch, play action, and they caught the Averett linebacking core napping, and a big gain inside the 20-yard line, or just at the 21 of the Cougars, and just like that, the Generals are marching downfield. One play, about 40 yards on that pickup. Well-executed play-action run. Again, this is a team that likes to run the football, and of course, the scouting reports bear that out. You get geared up for the run, and they pop you with a play-action pass. Well done by the Generals. 1st and 10 from the Cougar 21. Another man in motion. Romero will get this carry. Good quick step inside the 20-yard line. Gets ahead inside the 15 to the 14. That's 7 hard yards by Romero. And the Generals have set themselves up with a 2nd down and 3 from the Cougar 14-yard line. Generals drive it into the sun portion of the field. That, of course, heading west. Same personnel. They're keeping it at basically a 3 tight end set with 1 wide out, 1 back, man in motion. Romero gets another carry, and he is brought down quickly and rudely by number 9, Jalen Russell, crashing in from his right defensive end position. A loss of about a half yard on the play. It'll be 3rd down at about 4 for the Generals. Generals, of course, out of Lexington, Virginia. One-time NCAA Division I school. Years ago, though. Another man in motion. Murrin's back to pass, looking to the left-hand side. Got a receiver. Incomplete. Good defensive recovery, and a flag comes in late. Oh, come on now. Jiminy Christmas. Namari Borders. The only thing he didn't do was turn his back to the play. He put his hand in there and stripped the ball out, but because his back was to the play, they're going to call what looked like a pass interference. The guy that was closest to the play, the ref that is, did not throw a flag. The one that was far away did. I hate when they call what looks like interference or looks like a penalty. Okay, so it would have been offsides against the Cougars anyway. So pass interference will be the penalty that they accept, and that's a big, big 3rd down conversion. Forced the incomplete pass, but there's a penalty, and that will be a 1st down for the Generals, half the distance to the goal line. Well, that was a tough turn of events. Of course, it was going to be at least an offsides against the Cougars anyway, so it would have been a 1st down. So by rule, the ball is spotted at the 2-yard line because the pass interference occurred in the end zone. And this is their bread and butter. The Generals love to run the football. 42, Anthony Crawford, a freshman, is in the backfield now next to Murrin, the quarterback. Put a man in motion, handed to the motion man. The ball is on the ground, and the Cougars have recovered. A big pop in the backfield. The ball squirted out. Cougars number 8 comes up with the football. Seth Harden gets the trophy. Big defensive stop for the Cougars, and the offense will take the field. That was huge. Darn good hit in the backfield. A very physical football early on, and that was just and again, this defense, again, on a play-to-play basis, they've taken a few lumps this year, but they have come up with big play after big play. File that under big play. For 22, Draylon Martin will be the tailback. Again, he and Litton and Soto will be splitting a lot of carries. Averett starts with 2 wideouts to the left, 1 to the right. Bryce Jackson ready to rewrite the record book this afternoon. We'll move Nick Andrews in a little further. Martin gets the handoff, gets a bit of a hole out past the 10-yard line. Good quick hitter and a cut by Draylon Martin. We'll move the ball out to about the 13-yard line, about 5 yards, very close to it on 1st down. We'll give him 5, 2nd and 5 coming up. Traylon Martin had a big 100-yard-plus effort in week 1, and Litton had the big running in week 2. So we kind of go with the hot hand at tailback. Whoever's rolling, that's who we're going to give the rock to. Martin gets another carry, looking for room, gets popped by the free safety at about the 15-yard line. Only a couple of yards on that play. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 3. Good job by the free safety to come up and seal that in. But I'll tell you what, when the free safety is playing that close to the line, that aggressively, you might be able to do what they did to us on the first drive and get a play-action fake working. But on a 3rd down and 3, probable passing down, that's probably not in the playbook. 4-down lineman for the Generals, a big 3rd down and 3 for the Cougars. Bryce sets them down, calls the signals, back to pass, looking right, incomplete. They had the hand all over the receiver, and that official threw that flag from 30 yards away, but it was an obvious penalty. Nick Andrews on a quick slant had a defender's arms draped across his torso. That's a no-no, and Averett will get the 1st down by way of the penalty, their first of the afternoon. So they'll mark it at the 23-yard line. Thought he should have been a little bit further upfield, but they'll move it to the middle of the field, but it's still the 23-yard line of the Cougars. Defensive holding the call, not pass interference, but it's still a 1st down. Sean Watlington with 4 touchdown catches this year will split out wide to the right. Goffigan and Andrews to the left. Martin still the tailback here. Snap to Bryce. He's going to hand it to Draylon. Does a good cut move in the backfield and gets a couple of yards. That play looked like it might be going nowhere, but a good quick cut by Draylon got something out of nothing, and it will create a 2nd down and 7. Play selection so far for the Cougars, 4 runs, and 1 pass so far. And the pass doesn't go down in the records because it was in defensive holding. 3 yards on 1st down, 2nd down and 7. Cougars ball, their own 26-yard line. They'll flip the formation, send Watlington out to the left. Generals threaten a blitz. Going towards Watlington, incomplete. He turned around a little too late on that one. If he could have turned around a little earlier, could have gotten the bearing on the ball. Either he was a little late or Bryce was a little early on that timing pattern. It's incomplete, and the Cougars are staring at a 3rd down and 7 from deep in their own territory. Number 14, Jacoby Dixon, the freshman from GW High School right here in Danville, will come in. He's been a good 4th, 5th receiver for the Cougars this year. He'll be on the right slot position. Straight drop back from Bryce. Throws it short, incomplete. They're trying to set up a screen, and there were just too many General defenders trying to get defending Draylon Martin on the screenplay. That was busted up. It's incomplete, and we will see the Averett punting unit. Averett, again, has a very good situation here special teams-wise. 2 very veteran kickers. Of course, we mentioned Will Cavadas with the opening kickoff. Number 26, Mason Smith out of Autryville, North Carolina, is the Cougars punter. Has been for 3 years. Mason standing on about his own 10-yard line. And we had a whole lot of time here. It's going to be a timeout for the Cougars. We'll go and take a quick timeout as well as we get ready for the first punt of the afternoon from Averett. We'll bring you back for live action in just a moment. Of the afternoon, not able to take advantage of the turnover. They do move it little ways upfield, get a 1st down to hopefully help with field position here. General returner standing on about his own 34-yard line. Good snap back to Mason. He gets a very good punt away. An end over ender that's going to be picked up the 34-yard line on a fair catch. And that's where the Generals will begin their 2nd drive of the afternoon. Couple of heavyweights throwing jabs to start off the first round here. The one big play, of course, a 41-yard play-action completion for the Generals on their first drive, but they were not able to turn it into points. They had it at the Averett 2-yard line when the Cougars defense forced a fumble. And the Cougars defense will try to keep them off the board here. Number 0, Lamar Horner, middle linebacker for the Cougars, flanked by number 2, Roland Norfleet, backup linebacker who's going to be used kind of as a nickelback today. Send Jacob Romero in the backfield next to Stephen Murren, the General quarterback. Romero gets the handoff, gets a couple of yards. He has a very quick first step. Not a big fella, but he's brought down by number 9, Jalen Russell. 5'8", 180, yeah, that looks about right. Not a huge back, but he's got a very quick first step, and he runs with lots of aggression. Still, this sort of 1-3-1 formation. Actually, this is more of a two-wide out set. They have a slot receiver out to the left this time as they'll open up the formation just a bit. An H-back and a tailback. Romero gets another carry, dives ahead for only a couple of yards, out to about the 38-yard line. So a little power football look from the Generals, and they have put themselves with a 3rd down and 5 from the Cougar, from their own 38-yard line. They'll swap out receivers, actually swap out tailbacks as number 10, Romero, leaves. Number 42, Crawford. Actually, this is going to be an empty formation. No tailback out of this set. One wide out and basically 4 tight ends out of this formation. Now put one man in motion. Murren's going to look over to the side, gets a completion, well-executed route, and the Cougars will tackle him, but not before. The tight end gets a first down. Number 87, Evan Novak, junior tight end on the catch there, 6'3", 225, a well-executed 3rd down play, and the Generals move the ball into Cougar territory. They'll scrimmage now from the Averett 48. This time they'll break they'll go back to their 1-3-1 set here as they'll put number 10, Romero, back into the ball game. Romero, their leading rusher this year. Looks like they might be changing the play at the line. Only one wide out of this formation, 3 tight ends. This is a power set. Put a man in motion. The motion man will get the handoff, cuts it back against his body. Number 15, Josh Garcia on the carry. Inside handoff, good for a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. About 6 minutes into the ball game. No score from Daly Field on Frank R. Campbell Jr. Stadium here on the north campus of Averett University. We are in Danville, Virginia. Best city in the world, just my opinion. So they'll flip the formation. The wideout is to the offensive left this time. 2 wingbacks out of this set. Put one man in motion. Inside handoff to Romero. He'll play off the trap block, get a solid pickup to about the Cougar 42-yard line. So about 4 yards there. It'll set up a 3rd down and 4, and this is a methodical power football from the Generals. Cougars still not taking an awful lot of chances defensively. Haven't seen a lot of linebackers shooting gaps here. Pretty much content to try to play them straight up mano a mano so long as they can keep them at bay. But another 3rd down situation for the Generals, 3rd down and 4. They'll keep in their double wing set. High snap to the quarterback, Merle, and he'll get it to the outside, turn the quarter, got the first down just barely. Almost a busted play, needed 4, got about 5. Another 3rd down conversion for the Generals, and this is what they like to do. They will take the air out of the ball. They run about 3.4 to 1 versus pass, so this is right up their alley. They've not moved the chains on the far side for some reason, and now the officials are saying, okay, chain gang, you got to move this. It's first down. Bit of a high snap on that last play. I thought we might have disrupted the timing just enough with that, but not quite enough. 41, Marcus Payne was the ball carrier last time. So they run that double wing formation again with Payne and number 9, Cameron Reed as the wingmen. Number 10, Romero, still the tailback. Straight motion this time at the option pitch left. That's 42, Caldwell on the pickup. Get somebody grabbing him by the arm. Will bring him down after about a 4-yard pickup. Anthony Crawford, we should say, an exciting freshman for the Generals out of Swarthmore, Pennsylvania. And he'll get about 3 yards across the Averett 35 to the Cougar 34-yard line. They are setting us up for some play-action fun here big time. They have been run, and we've already seen what their quarterback could do in a play-action. We'll swap it out, put number 10, Romero, in the backfield again. Still a double wing formation. One wide out to the left. Romero gets another carry. Get ahead, get past the trap block for about 3 yards. This is Washington and Lee football. 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, 3 yards, first down. So the third down conversion, and they've all been either 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 5 in this drive. Just a very methodical drive by the Generals here. They went to the air last time on a 3rd down and 4. Straight drop back, fakes, ball is loose, squirted, and the Cougars have recovered it again. Murrin looked like he might have a path to get a first down on an improvised scramble, but the ball popped free, and for the second consecutive drive, the Averett Cougar defense has forced a turnover. What were we saying about bend but don't break defense? That is the definition right there. Looked like Murrin had a whole lot of green in front of him to get the first down there, but don't know if an Averett player got his hand in there or if Murrin just lost the football. That happens too. So we'll switch out the tailbacks. Cougars, their second drive will begin with number 25, Isaiah Litton, in the backfield, sophomore out of R.J. Reynolds High School in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Cougar ball, their own 25-yard line. Straight drop back from Bryce. He's got time. Time begins to run out. He throws it short, complete to Litton out of the backfield. He'll get what he can out past the 30-yard line, maybe the 31. Good improv skills by Bryce to find a secondary receiver there. Good job by that offensive line to make sure he had enough time to go through his progressions. About 6 yards on the completion. Averett still going with the same receiver package. Sean Watlington is to the right. Goffigan and Andrews split out to the left with Andrews in the slot. Got a wing back in the backfield next to Bryce Jackson, the quarterback. Litton gets the handoff, looking for room, right side. Not going to get much there. Good job by the Generals to plug up the inside, then follow him to the outside. He'll get about a yard or so, but we're looking at a 3rd down and 3 now for the Cougars. Line of scrimmage is the Averett 32-yard line. Averett will bring Christian Williams into the game as their tight end. Watlington by himself to the right. Goffigan and Andrews to the left. Litton still in the backfield. Put the tight end in motion. Straight drop back from Bryce. He'll throw it short, incomplete, trying to find Andrews on a curl in. It was well defended. The pass was a bit high and outside. And the Cougars offense continues to struggle. They've had 2 drives today, but only 1 first down to show for it. So the Cougars, for the second consecutive drive, cannot take direct advantage of a turnover by the Generals. And for the second time, we'll see Mason Smith come on to punt the football. The score some of you may be interested in, Virginia and Boston College are now tied up 24-all late in the 4th quarter at Chestnut Hill. So Mason's going to stand on about his own 17-yard line. Gets a good snap. Gets a very good kick away. He's been booting the tar out of the ball. Fair catch called for at about the 13-yard line. And that is a great swap of field position from Mason Smith, the Cougars punter. That's as good a punt as you will see at the collegiate level of football. That was outstanding. And in a game like this that has been defensive dominated, that really shifts field position in a big way. Now the Cougars defense has to keep the Generals in check here. Really, the only big offense from the afternoon was a 41-yard play-action pass on the game's opening play. A couple other first downs by the Generals, but apart from that, the 2 defenses have ruled this afternoon. Empty backfield, 2 wings, 2 wides. They'll put Romero in motion and hand him the ball, and he's going to get maybe a yard or so, but that's it. He'll move it ahead just past the 15-yard line. We got a stoppage of play. One of the Jalen Russell lost his hat, so he'll have to come out for a play. Number 47, Zadarius McKenzie, sophomore from Indian River High School in Chesapeake, will take his place, presumably for 1 play. We'll give Romero 2 yards on the carry, 2nd down and 8 from the Averett 16-yard line. This is still a power football formation they're employing. They'll put one man in motion, but hand it to Romero again, and he won't get too much again. Hats off to the middle of the Averett defensive line for plugging the gap and really not giving the running back an angle to get upfield at all. But still got about 3 yards on the play. Good second effort by Romero, but right now the Generals are staring at a 3rd down and 6. 4 minutes left in the first quarter. No score from Daly Field, and it seems like every other play has been a 3rd down conversion for one team or the other. So the double wing formation with a single back, that's Romero. They'll put a man in motion. They'll fake it to the motion man. Murrin is going to roll against his body, trying to run for the first down. Gets knocked hard out of bounds, and we're going to give it to him the easy way. Yeah, our defender hit him way late out of bounds. I know every part of your instinct tells you get him, hit. But you got to learn to check up before once he gets out of bounds or when it's obvious he's going out of bounds. So we'll tack the 15 yards onto the end of the run, which don't know if the run was a first down run, but it doesn't really matter now, does it? Because it will definitely be first down as they move it to the general 38-yard line. Big, costly penalty there. And again, in a game like this where yards are really at a premium, that 15-yard penalty, any 15-yard penalty looms extra large. Got a little problem with the chains across the way there. I think we got the chains kind of tangled up on the far side there, and they're trying to undo them. They're going to call both teams off the field while they try to unravel the chain mystery here. Evidently, they just got, I've seen it happen a couple of times before where, chains are just that, chains. They get they get tangled up sometimes, and evidently that's going to be the case. Sun just now tipped behind a cloud here in Danville, Virginia. It's been a partly cloudy day. The weatherman says rain will not be an issue this evening. And once again, Averett's been, we just must have made a deal with the devil to get great weather for every home game the past 3 years. It's just been super. There might have been one little chilly game 2 years ago where you might have caught a chill here or there, but we have, for the most part, our home games just had spectacular weather. And it was a food truck rodeo Saturday tailgate here in Danville, and boy, you haven't lived until you've opened up your door to get out of the Averett tailgate and you smell that wonderful smell of food coming at you from all directions. Everyone's having a blast, eating, drinking, tossing cornhole, telling lies, just like the old days. And really, quite frankly, Averett football on a Saturday night has become the thing to do in Danville. We're increasingly seeing people who have no direct connection to the program whatsoever, but just want to come out for an afternoon of fun and entertainment, punctuated, of course, at the end by a football game from a team that is becoming increasingly competitive. Again, Averett has not been able to recruit until very recently as a member of the ODAC conference. That's a big deal because, again, the caliber players that you're looking for in the ODAC, if you're not a member of the ODAC, you're probably not going to get them. But now, as a full member of the ODAC, Averett is recruiting, again, completely directly against Hampton, Sydney, Washington, and Lee, some of the blue bloods of the ODAC. And it's going to take a while before we have, like you say, a full series of recruiting classes that have been recruited for an ODAC play. I think they're going to bury the chains on the other side and break out the backup chains. Why do we have backup chains? Because of this. You never know what's going to happen. And now they will try to calibrate, make sure it's exactly 10 yards, make sure there are no kinks in the chain. Again, this could be absolutely crucial at some point in the game. You got to have the right equipment. So the backup chains will be employed here. Always bring a spare. Keep a spare in your trunk. And so they'll set up the beat chains on the first side of the field, and we will resume football. After the penalty, the line of scrimmage is the general 38-yard line. 3.5 minutes left in the first quarter. No score from Daly Field. Tell you what, that little chain delay's kind of sapped a lot of the energy out of the crowd here. This, of course, what do you do during a chain delay? Not a rain delay, but a chain delay. Now the officials are discussing this, that, and the other thing, and pretty soon the ball will be ready for play, and so will we. 5 first downs early on in the ball game for the Generals, but both of their drives have ended in fumbles recovered by Averett. 1st and 10, this will be the first 3 wide receiver set we've seen all afternoon from W&L. Put one of the slot guys in motion, handed off to Romero in the backfield. He does a good job on a stop and go to get past the initial pressure, and he'll get about a 3-yard pickup on a play that looked like it might have been destined for 1 yard at the most. Good job by number 10, tailback Jacob Romero, to get little something out of a little nothing there. 3 yards to the 41-yard line. And again, they'll keep the 3 wide out set. It's 2 to the right, 1 to the left, with an H-back to the offensive right side, the strong side. Stephen Murrin, the junior quarterback out of Fort Worth, Texas, sets him down. He's going to run option left, keeps it himself, gets a couple of yards to the 44-yard line. Good job by the Cougars to cover pitch and base, and they'll hold him to about a 3-yard gain. So we're staring at about a 3rd down and a short 4, long 3 here. Guarantee you we've had 10 third down opportunities for both teams combined here in the first quarter. That's a lot. Going deep into the sets of downs here. So 3rd down, again, about 3.5 yards to go for the Generals. They'll go double wing formation. Keeper by the quarterback, Murrin. He dives forward. Don't think he's got quite enough for a 1st down. It'll be very, very close. And I think he's short where they're spotting him. No, they say you got enough. Okay. That's a bit of a generous spot there. They must have given him the bounce there, because I thought where he initially hit, he might have been a little short, but officials will say close enough, I suppose. I think the Cougars are arguing for a measurement here, but you can't really have a measurement because they just moved the chains over there. They just recalibrated it, and now it looks like they're going to move the chains back. And cause I thought they were number one, I thought it was a generous spot. Number 2, it was still close enough to where it's not one you automatically look on the sideline and say, yeah, that's a 1st down. It's close enough for a measurement is what Averett is arguing here. Tip of the ball is right at just beyond, maybe a few inches beyond the general 47-yard line. Now, if they don't get it, it'll be 4th down, and you would almost think they go for it because it would just be inches here. But, again, you have to go for it. Might have a bad snap or anything could happen. So a long discussion here from the officials. I thought they jumped the gun by declaring that a 1st down when the visual evidence was really close. Again, the ball is where they're spotting is 47-yard line. And according to the chains across the way, they had to get it to just beyond the 47. Now, these are new chains. We'll see. Again, we told you how important those darn chains were. Here we go. They will stretch it out, and they are well short of a 1st down by about a half a yard. You're right, it wasn't close, but it wasn't close in the other direction. So it's 4th down, not quite a yard for W&L, and they are giving no indication that they're going to bring their punting unit out. So they're going to go for it, 4th down. And why not? I mean, their defense has held Averett to only 12 yards of offense in 2 drives. So here we go. Coach Henry is imploring the crowd to get into this. Make some noise, and here comes the noise. 3 tight end formation. Romero, the lone setback here. They'll put a man in motion. There's a bit of movement. Back to pass, though, and they're looking for a receiver on the outside. Incomplete. Good job by the Cougars defense. They tried to lull us asleep with a play-action fake and get a streak pattern on the outside. A great job at number 11, Namari Borders, keeping up with his man. That had to be an absolutely perfect pass to have a chance. It was not, and the Cougars defense holds once again. Turnover, downs. Those are the 3 results so far of the W&L drives. And finally, Averett will have a little field position here as they'll start the drive at the general 47-yard line. Minute 14 left in the first quarter. We still have no score from Danville. A defensive struggle so far. We'll see if the Cougars can take advantage of this wonderful field position. Hand off to the tailback. That's Shy Watlington, who breaks a couple of tackles, gets ahead for about a 4-yard pickup or so. Again, looked like he was going to get nothing, but Shy, the sophomore from Danville, Virginia, who also played high school football in addition to GW at Reedsville High School, will give about 4 yards is what they're saying. So second down and 6 now for the Cougars. Final from Chestnut Hill. Boston College knocks off the UVA Cavaliers 27-24. Second down and 6. We'll put Williams in short motion here, tight end. Shy gets another handoff, looking for room. He's got it on the outside, into the secondary, 30-yard line, gets a downfield block to the 20. Shy Watlington, not shy at all on that bad boy. He'll pick up about 23 yards, and the second Cougars' first down of the afternoon. This kid started as a freshman here at George Washington High School, and he just had special athlete written all over him. So first and 10 Cougars from the general 18-yard line. Shy still in the backfield to put Williams in motion again. Another handoff to Shy, off tackle, breaks a tackle at the line, gets inside the 15, not far inside the 15. Actually, they're going to say his forward progress was stopped at about the 16 for, it's only a couple of yards here. You got a couple of different spots from the officials. One's at the 15, one's at the 16. That is the first quarter, and it has been a defensive struggle. The Cougars, though, finally have some field position. No score from Danville. We'll bring you back for quarter number 2 in a moment.
Averett University provides all you need for your future through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential. With flexible online and on-campus programs, affordable tuition, and over 50 majors and programs. Visit allaverett.com. Are you all in?
Second quarter with the Cougars knocking at the door. Second down and 8 from the general 16-yard line. And again, the revolving door of running backs continues. Guy I call the Alaskan Assassin, number 24, Gabby Soto from Juneau, Alaska. He's a little bitty fellow, 5'5", 154 pounds, but he has had some exciting runs this year for the Cougars. We'll run a little stack set of trips on the left offensive side. First time we've shown that formation this afternoon. Home crowd getting a little rowdy here in Danville, anticipating what will hopefully be an Averett score. Soto lines up to Bryce Jackson's right. Again, that stacked trip formation will put Sean Watlington in motion. Jackson a straight drop back. He's got time. He's looking for the wheel route. It's incomplete. He's trying to find Soto out of the backfield. That was very well covered by the linebacking core of Washington and Lee. Incomplete pass, and now we're staring at a third down and 8. If you're thinking about 4-down territory or not, this would be a 33-yard field goal thereabouts, well within Will Cavadis's range. Goff again, and Andrews to the left. Sean Watlington to the right. Shy Watlington in the backfield. Yes, they are brothers. 81 Christian Williams, a tight end at the left H-back spot. He'll go in motion. Third down and 8 for the Cougars. Bryce will hand it to Shy, looking to get something. Just a little couple yards up the middle, maybe not even 1 yard to about the 15-yard line. Cougars playing a little field position there, hoping they could pop a run on them. But anyway, we'll bring number 27, Will Cavadis, out. He's 3 of 5 on field goals this year. He missed one last week. He made one and missed one last week, and really his 3 points were quite literally the difference in that 17-14 road win at Brevard. Mason Smith, the punter, will be the holder. This will be a 33-yard field goal from the right hash mark. Plenty of time on the play clock. A fake. looking to throw it downfield. Got a receiver in the end zone, and is caught! 81 Christian Williams gets the pass from Will Cavanis. A little razzle-dazzle in Danville puts the Cougars on the scoreboard. 6-0, 14:08 left in the first half. Wow! A direct snap to Will Cavanis. He rolled right, and he showed great patience. He just waited for his receiver to make the break. Christian Williams dead, and 16 yards later, the Cougars are on the board. Now Cavanis will try a much quicker kick, the extra point. Good snap. Kick is on its way. It's up, and it's good. And just like that, the Cougars draw first blood here in Danville. A little razzle-dazzle from special teams puts the Cougars up 7-0. We'll bring you back for the kickoff in 1 minute. Well, Averett has a touchdown pass tonight, but for the first time in eons, it didn't come for Bryce Jackson. It came from the kicker, Will Cavanis, on a well-done fake field goal. Snapped it directly to Cavanis, the place kicker. He rolled to his right and did a great job of waiting for his receiver to make his break. He found the tight end Christian Williams in the end zone, and Cougars are up 7-0. Cavanis will kick it the other way into the sun. This one will be returnable, picked up by Romero at about the 10-yard line. It's actually number 8 on the return, as he'll get ahead to about the 24. Number 8, Andrew Bland, a junior out of Doug Freeman High School in Richmond, will get the ball out to about just past the 20-yard line or so. And so statistically, before that drive, W&L had a pretty solid advantage on the Cougars. But that don't mean nothing. We count touchdowns, and the Cougars have that, and a 7-0 lead right now. This will be the first second quarter possession for the Generals offense. And their quarterback is Stephen Murrin. He's kind of your prototypical big boy quarterback, 6'3", 210 pounds, out of Fort Worth, Texas. Went to Fort Worth Country Day. Sorry, 80 Trevor Testament on the touchdown. I've been giving the wrong. I've been giving credit to the wrong guy here. First down handoff to Romero. He's going to run into a blue wall about 1 yard into the play. Averett's defensive line taking note. Number 4, Kamar Price, actually from his backer position, got the hit there. Again, Trevor Testerman was the recipient of the touchdown pass last time. My apologies to Trevor. Again, son of Troy Testerman, the first player to score a touchdown in Averett history way back in 2001. Grandson of Don Testerman, played a couple of years in the NFL. Great-grandson of Clyde Testerman, who ran a great tackle shop out on Milton Road, just for the record. Inside handoff to Romero. Again, boy, we are winning the battle at the line. Tony Totten and the rest of the guys did not move much at all. A second run will do about like last, get about maybe 2 feet on the play. And now the Generals are looking at a 3rd down and 8. Middle of the Averett defense, last couple of plays has just been super. This is the so-called second string, not really second string, because our backup defensive tackles will get just as many snaps as the starters. Third down snap. Murrin back to pass. Little pressure. He throws. It's caught, and he's going to be dropped down immediately on the defense. Kamar Price from his linebacking position read the play. Couldn't get there in time to break up the pass, but he brought the ball carrier down 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Averett's defense answers with a quick 3-and-out. Cougars will get the ball back up 7-0. P.J. Hopper ready to return his first punt of the afternoon, and he's going to break one this year. I know it. He's just got that Devin Hester vibe to him. You don't coach a punt returner. You just tell him to go, and I think Hopper is that kind of player. General punter standing on about his own 11-yard line. This will be the first punt of the afternoon for the Generals. Decent snap, short kick. Don't know if he got all of that one or not. It's going to stay in play, go out of bounds, and Cougars going to have very, very good field position to start drive number 4. Hats off to that Cougar defense. They just suffocated the Generals on that last set of downs, and the Cougars will have the football in General territory, up 7-0, 11:54 left in the first half. Again, sorry as I can be on miscalling the touchdown. I thought for sure that was 81. It was 80, Trevor Testerman. And we certainly want to give credit where credit's due. So the Cougars, for the first time this afternoon, have the football and a lead. Number 24, Draylen Martin, will be the featured tailback this drive. Also, Trevor Testerman, who just caught the touchdown pass, is all by himself, split out wide to the left. 2 to the right. Straight drop back from Bryce. Going over the middle, caught by Testerman. A great catch right at about the 16, 17-yard line. Trevor Testerman is becoming the man of the afternoon here in Danville. Touchdown catch and a big catch on that one. He went down and plucked that one off the ground before it hit the ground. That was excellent. Cougars back in the red zone from the General 17-yard line. Same formation, Testerman by himself to the offensive left. We got a 2-back set this time. First time we've shown 2 in the backfield. Be a handoff to Sean Watlington, receiver. Not going to get too much out of that play. Again, Sean Watlington is sort of a Swiss Army knife. He was the leading rusher for the Cougars last year as a running back, but switched him to receiver, and he's become a prolific touchdown maker. But you know, he can still carry the ball when he has to. Only going to get about a yard there, though. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Again, you really have to check the Cougars on a between-play basis because we shuttled in so many different players. Flag on this, and so we're going to have some kind of a formational penalty. We hadn't even started on this one, or it's going to be a sideline warning, one or the other. Either way, the flag was thrown well before anyone was ready for play. And we'll see who the guilty party is here. Cougars with a 7-0 lead. Early second quarter action here from Daly Field. Well, the official is going to explain something to the coaching staff over at W&L. Don't know if they're going to wave the flag off or what. And we're still waiting for an explanation from the officials. And now, just as a matter of course, he will have to inform Coach Patrick Henry of what this ruling is or is not. Why did they stop this game? I keep thinking it's a sideline type thing just based upon the hand motions of the official. They are going to wave the flag off. Okay. Still 2nd down and 9. No infraction before the play started. 24, Soto is in the backfield next to Bryce Jackson, the quarterback. Soto, the sophomore from Alaska. They'll split Sean Watlington to the right. Got 2 to the left. To the left is where this pass is going to go. Curlin caught by Gothigan inside the 10-yard line to about the 6. Oh, that was going to be a dangerous-looking pass from Bryce, but he threaded the needle there. His best pass of the night. And it's going to be 1st and goal for the Cougars from the General 6-yard line. Well-executed play that time. Looked like that strong safety might have had a play on that ball, but Bryce put enough gumbo on the pass to where he didn't have a chance to get in the middle of it. Soto still in the backfield. 1st and goal Cougars from the 6-yard line. We'll put Williams in motion. Jackson hands off to Soto, dances around, not going to get much at all. He was waiting for a hole that never developed. He's going to lose about a foot on the play, and it'll be 2nd down and goal. Soto's an exciting player, but at 150 pounds, he might not be optimal here in this red zone offense, particularly inside the 10-yard line. Williams will come out of the game, and Trevor Testerman's coming back out. And there'll be 2nd and goal Cougars from the General 7. Testerman split out wide to the right. Gothigan and Andrews to the left, rather. Gothigan and Andrews to the right. Sean Watlington in the slot. Watlington's going to get the pass. 5-yard line. cuts inside, dives, pylon, gets in for a touchdown. Sean Watlington did a beautiful job of waiting for his blocks to develop that time. A short little dot pass to the outside. He settled in and waited for his blocks to get there, and when they did, he put it into turbo drive, dove to the corner, got the touchdown, his 5th of the year. Cougars are up 13-0. Very impressive drive by the Cougars to answer a 3-and-out from W&L. Will Cavadas on for the extra point. Mason Smith is the holder. Bit of a high snap. Mason gets it down, though, and Will Cavadas does the rest. Extra point is good. Cougars looking stout this afternoon from sunny Danville, Virginia. Cougars are up 14-0. We'll bring you back in 1 minute. Here in Danville, Virginia, the last 2 drives for Averett have resulted in touchdowns. And they've staked themselves out to a 14-0 lead. And that touchdown pass from Bryce Jackson is a record setter. We'll tell you more in just a second. Subsequent kickoff is going to be picked up at about the goal line. That's going to be Lehman on the return, looking for a lane to the left. Cougars will swap on him before the 20-yard line. Good football being put on this afternoon by the Averett Cougars. That touchdown pass, the 43rd in Bryce Jackson's career, and he is now the all-time Averett record holder in terms of touchdown passes. He already held the school record for career yards, and he's also tied the school record for career completion. So it's going to be called the Bryce Jackson record book here very shortly, as Bryce Jackson has etched his name as the most prolific passer in Averett University football history. Generals now find themselves in a 2-touchdown hole. Murren's going to roll right after the fake handoff. Now he's going to look to run it upfield. Does a great job of getting past Kumar Price, and he'll get near first down yardage. Little improvisation that time from Murren, who was their second leading rusher coming into the game. We got an injured Cougar on the play. We'll get an update on that for the second. But Murren has been mostly just distributing the ball on handoffs tonight. He had run a couple of option plays. That was the first time we saw him just basically say, okay, I'm going to run / scramble here. And he got upfield and got about 10 yards exactly and a first down. Injury timeout on the field with the Cougars up 14-0. A lot of football left in the first half. 9:15 to go before the half. And just as a program, we'll let you know when we get halftime. We'll sort of go silent for a few minutes to let everyone catch their bearings, and we'll come back with some halftime stats and more fun numbers for you. Injured Cougar walking, running off the field of his own volition. That's number 28, Jonathan Guess, a freshman. He looks none the worse for wear. To coin a term, I think he just got his bell rung. 40, Tony Totten into the game, junior out of Tunstall High School. I mean, I kind of like him because he's sort of my size, 5'9", 290. I like him. I didn't play at 290, though, just for the record. From the 30-yard line, first down for the Generals. Again, 9:15 left in the first half. Averett with a 14-0 lead. Put a man in motion, and the motion man will get the handoff. The shred of backfield, I think we got a face mask, yeah. I think Tony Totten, when he was trying to get in from behind, might have had a finger in the face mask, and that's going to be a 15-yarder. And the Generals are putting together a decent drive early on here. And it will be the personal foul variety, so 15 yards from the infraction at the end of the run, actually, and it'll be another first down in this drive for W&L. We'll swap out defensive tackles again. 48, Mike Cotton will come in, along with number 55, starter Ezekiel Williams. a senior out of Northern Durham High School, same high school as Bryce Jackson, the quarterback. So the ball is now at the general 47-plus yard line. They'll put a wing back in motion, hand it off to Romero, who does a good cutback move to get a couple of yards out of that. Cougars were in position, but Romero got that all on his own. He's going to get about 4 yards, and that was all Romero. Injured Cougar number 28, Jonathan Guess, is back into the ball game. He is the only freshman starter, so figure we've got some high hopes for him the next couple of years. 4 yards on first down, 2nd and 6. Stephen Murrin, the quarterback, will look over his charges. 2 wideouts to the left, 1 man in motion. Inside handoff, Romero gets into the linebacking core. Good open field tackle, but not before he gets a first down. We didn't have anybody lay a hand on him until the free safety made a sure tackle, but when your safety's making tackles, that usually means it's been the end of a decent run. So the 3rd first down of this drive for Washington and Lee. Cougars with a 2-touchdown lead. Their defense has been bend but don't break. Their drives have ended intercept or fumble, downs, and punt. 5th drive of the afternoon for W&L. Same motion man again. Fake the handoff, rolling right as Murrin. He'll throw it short, complete. Short gain to the right side. Number 5, Jacob Lemon. Actually, number 5, Kendall Spriggans with the defense for the Cougars. About a 5-yard pickup. Just a little short pass play to get their pass bearings under them. This is not a team that prefers throwing the football. They prefer running, controlling the clock, but even though you're in the first half, you're down 2 touchdowns. Not a sense of urgency yet, but we'll see if that affects their play calling in the aggregate. We'll go to a double wing, no back set this time. Crawford is one of the wings. He'll go in motion. He'll get the handoff against his body. Cougars have it pretty well defense, and they'll drop him down about 2 yards into the play. Good job by the linebacking core to not let him reach the outside there, force the play back to the inside, and about a 2-yard pickup or so, maybe only 1 yard. And the Generals are looking at a 3rd down and 4 from the Cougar 33-yard line. And of course, this far into Averett territory, you got to think they're thinking 4 downs here to get these 4 yards. I'll put Crawford into the backfield this time. Next to Murrin, put a receiver in motion. Crawford gets the carry up ahead. He's going to be a little short of the first down, I think. They'll mark him down at the 30, and he needed to get to the 29, so it's a 4th down and 1. But again, as we said, Generals are almost certainly in 4-down territory, and that's going to be the case. We don't see no punter coming on the field is what we're saying. Here we go. Big 4th down play for the Cougars defense. See if they can come up with another big play here. Crawford, the freshman, actually number 10, Romero, is back in the backfield now. Stephen Murrin sits him down. Might be trying to draw the Cougars offsides. Got to be disciplined on defense. He's going to run option. Right-hand side. He is dropped by Kamar Price behind the line of scrimmage. And those doggone Cougar defenders have done it again. Great pressure from Kamar Price on what was going to be an option right. And the Cougars defense stuffs them on 4th and short. And the Cougars have the ball and a 2-touchdown lead. Yes, this feels good. Boy, that Cougar defense has just come up big on some plays this afternoon. I mean, they have just come up huge. Testerman into the game at a wideout spot. Also bringing number 88, Simeon Waters, into the ball game. A couple of new names we haven't seen today. 22, Draylon Martin is in the backfield once again. He hasn't seen any carries since the first part of the game, but that's the way we do it. We shuttle the running backs in and out a lot. Martin gets the carry, puts his hand on the back of his defender, trying to find room. Not a lot of room. He might get a yard out of this, if that. It'll be 2nd down and 9 or 10, depending upon whether they give him the nose of the football or not. Not much on that run. Cougars did not get a good push from their big hogs up front on that play. 2 wideouts to the right, 1 to the left. That's Trevor Testerman, flanker this time, all by himself. Martin still in the backfield. Williams, the tight end, lining up to the left. Straight drop back from Bryce. Looking over the middle. Incomplete and intercepted. It's going to be knocked the other way, and there's a return on the way, a flag on the return as number 7 is going to take it to the house, presumably here for a touchdown. There is a flag on the play, so I think the return will come back. But that was not Bryce Jackson's fault. That was right in the hands of his receiver, and he not only couldn't bring it in, but he popped it up to make it a room service interception for number 7, Connor O'Malley of W&L. And, boy, that was big. That was just big. You've got to catch that ball. You've got to catch that ball. Just no other way to put it. I think we're going to have a penalty, and there is going to be a hold on the return against the Generals. So good news is that will nullify a touchdown, which would have really turned the game around. But Generals will still have the ball. They'll start at the Cougar 46-yard line. Just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Cougars up 14-0, but boy, that was a big turnover. Oh, if we make that catch, it's first down, and you still got the ball to. But that's spilled milk. Don't cry. Let's crack down on defense like the Cougars have been doing all afternoon. But this will clearly be the best starting field position of the afternoon for the Generals. Kamar Price will come into the game to round out the Cougar defense here. Romero in the backfield, single back set, double wing. One wing goes in motion. Romero gets the handoff and gets a couple of yards. He's spinning and diving it pretty good, but they're going to say he was down at about the 43-yard line. A little tempo now as W&L goes quickly back to the line of scrimmage. 3 yards on first down. And now the officials say, wait a minute, it's not the 42, it's the 43. Let's get everybody in the right spot here. So, hurry up football this time. Rolling to the right on a direct snap is Romero. He's got room to the outside. He's going to have a first down. Little wild cat action right there, and they caught the Cougars a little flat-footed on defense. First time we'd seen that look from the Generals tonight. One of the Generals is down, so there will be an injury timeout after that play. But Washington and Lee now finding themselves almost in a must-score situation. Again, if you get given a gift like they were on the interception last time and you don't take advantage of it, and you're still down 2 touchdowns, that's pretty hard to handle. But that turnover was big by the Cougars. And again, it wasn't like it was a turnover that was forced by a great defensive play. The receiver just had it pop right out of his hands and fell into the arms of a defensive back. And just like that, the Generals are threatening to cut the lead in half here. Still got a ways to go. It's from the Cougar 32-yard line after that run by Romero out of the Wildcat formation. And Romero was the injured General on the play, so he'll come out of the game now. 42 Crawford will take his place in the backfield. Stephen Murrin sets him down. So the Cougars defense, which has been tasked with making big plays all afternoon, is going to be asked to make another big play to keep Washington and Lee off the scoreboard. Line of scrimmage, the Cougar 32-yard line. Still that double wing formation from the Generals. Again, this is a team that prefers running the football. Man in motion. Tailback Crawford gets the carry. He gets a good block up front, and he'll move ahead for a solid pickup. They're actually going to say he went down a couple of yards into the play. Didn't get quite what I thought on the play, so it'll be second down. They'll say he got back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. Looked like they're going to say he went down. Looked like he might have picked up 3 yards there, but he was already down before that. So good job by the Cougars defense. Second down and 10. Actually might have lost a half yard on that play as they spotted at the Cougar 33. Empty backfield this time for Murrin. Straight drop back, fakes short, throws deep. It's going to be caught. There's a flag on the play. We'll see what that's all about. And they're going to say the pass was incomplete. So I thought the receiver hauled it in, but he did not. So now we have to sort out what the penalty's all about. Came from the side judge. Ineligible receiver downfield against the Generals. And that is a loss of down, I do believe, in college football. And Generals are trying to play themselves out of a drive here. Cougars are going to decline the penalty because the pass was incomplete. It'll be third down and about 11. But again, as we saw last time, this is 4-down territory for the Generals. Clock not yet a factor. 3:29 left in the first half. Romero comes back into the game at tailback. That should be third down. think they're telling the chain game it should be third down because they have the short. There you go. Third down about 11 now for the Generals. Empty backfield again with a double wing set. 2 wideouts to the left. Straight drop back from Murrin. He's got time. Looking over the middle for a receiver. It's going to be caught inside the 5-yard line, just shy of the goal line. He actually had 2 receivers open over there. One of them probably was running the wrong route because that's not the way it's supposed to work. But he found a receiver wide open, number 15, Josh Garcia, and he's going to be tackled at about the 2-yard line, and WNL is really knocking on the door now. If Averett's going to preserve this shutout, they're going to have a little intervention like they had on the first drive where they forced a fumble. Crawford into the game now. First and goal from just outside the 2-yard line. Snap handoff. Crawford tries to get to the end zone. He ain't going to get it. 2 Cougars hit him right at the 1-yard line and will shove him back after that. He's just inside the 1. So he's really only got about 2 feet to go for a touchdown here. Again, clock not a factor. Now, if Averett's thinking about giving themselves some time to do something with the football, then that might be one thing. But Cougars do get the ball to start the second half. Second and goal inside the 1-yard line. Romero's in the backfield. Still the shotgun formation. They're not going to break formation here. Put a man in motion. Romero gets the carry, gets a hole on the right-hand side, and he will dive in for a touchdown. So the Generals finally find a way to make the Averett defense break. They'll get a short touchdown run. We got an injured Cougar on the field, so we'll have an injury timeout. But pending the conversion, the score right now is 14-6. Boy, I hope we don't look back an hour and a half, 2 hours from now and see that interception as the turning point in the game because we really let them off the hook there. And again, if it's a forced fumble or something where they just had a spectacular hit, that's one thing. But that was an unforced error on Averett's part. And Washington and Lee, they're a good football team. They took advantage of that. Solid drive here on the short field. Number 90, Arturo Ramirez, comes on as a senior place kicker, 6'1", 190 pounds. He's a left footer. Number 80, Aiden Beauchamps is the holder. Bit of a high snap, and Beauchamps is going to try to find what he can on the outside, trying to find the corner of the end zone, and he will. Busted play becomes a 2-point conversion, and the Generals have pulled to within 1 score. 14-8 after the successful 2-point conversion. We'll take a break and bring you back for the Averett response in 1 moment.
Is inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon, with affordable tuition and 24/7 support. It all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
.218 left to go in the first half. Cougars' lead has been cut more than in half. 14-8 now after the successful 2-point conversion. Shadows begin to take over the north side of Daly Field here in Danville. Subsequent kickoff is high and drifting to the right. Let that puppy go. Oh, boy, don't do that. That was a mistake by Jonathan Guess on the far side there as he stepped out of bounds out about his own 6-yard line. That was a mistake. We have got to stop making mistakes. That is frustrating. You got to let that one go. You can hear the Averett coaches just screaming now. That's a no-no. That is a mental error, and winning football teams cannot afford those kinds of errors. Still, though, Cougars up 14-8, and this might change your strategy on how to close out the first half here. 25, Isaiah Litton will be the tailback this time. Again, you might, if you get it on the 35-yard line, 2+ minutes left, couple of timeouts, and you don't have a problem. Now, inside your own 10-yard line. Litton will get the carry, get what he can up the gut, move the pile forward to near the 10-yard line. He'll get tackled at the 9, and, yep, here comes Washington and Lee going to call the timeout, and why not? If they force us to punt down here deep in our own territory, they can get the football back with a minute plus on the clock and presumably in good field position. But, yeah, the Cougars got to work their way out of this, and, again, all of this, 100% of this was a mental error on the part of a player. And Averett, very few teams are good enough to be able to overcome just obvious mental errors like that. The great teams have a large margin of error. That's not us. Again, very few, very few are. And, again, they're just avoidable. Again, penalties caused by passion or whatever, or, trying to do a lot, that's one thing. You can live with those penalties of aggression, but these mental penalties are just hard to swallow because, by definition, they are 100% avoidable. They'll give Litton about 3 yards on first down, spot the ball just beyond the 9, second down and 7. And again, W&L still has 2 timeouts after this, so you figure if the Cougars just run 2 plays into the line and don't get a first down, they'll utilize their timeouts and get decent field position. Litton on another carry, out past the line of scrimmage to about the 14-yard line. Not a bad pickup that time. So it'll be third down at about a yard. That was a solid pickup by Litton on second down. This time, W&L does not call a timeout because, again, now they're worried about the possibility of Averett getting a first down here and being able to eventually do something with the ball. Both teams, in terms of clock management right now, are kind of in no man's land. A lot will be decided on this third down and 2 play. Reposition Andrews at the slot. Litton gets another carry. He's got a hole, and it looks like he's got enough for a first down as he'll move it out to about the 18-yard line. That's a big conversion for the Cougars, and now they will call a timeout. Or actually, I think we'll stop the clock on the first down. Now we're ready for play here. Now the Cougars can possibly explore getting it downfield. Doesn't look like they're in any kind of hurry, though, so I'm thinking at this point we might just be willing to go up 14-8 at the end of the half. Only 2 timeouts left for the Generals, and yes, indeed, Averett is in no hurry to get this snap underway. Litton still in the backfield. Bryce working the clock here. Litton gets another carry. He'll dive up the middle, get into the linebacking core. Good hard hitting going on as he'll get out to near the 25-yard line. About a 7-yard pickup, but again, because you started your drive so far back in your own field position, yeah, this is playing into the Cougars' strategy. If we let that ball go out of bounds and start on our own 35, we're on their side of the field right now and thinking about getting some points. But right now, you're still on your own 25. So playing it conservative here to close out the first half. Again, the Cougars will get the ball to start the second half. Litton still in the backfield next to Jackson. He's going to get another carry, see what he can get. Not much this time, out to about the 26. We'll see if W&L tries a timeout or if they're just going to be content to let that be the last play of the first half, and I believe that's what they're going to do. Solid first half for the Cougars, but a couple of mistakes late in the first half have really kind of put a tarnish on things. That's the bad news. The good news is the Cougars still have a 14-8 lead here at the break, and we'll get the football first to start the second half. Beautiful day for football, and so far the Cougars are putting on a good show for the home crowd. They're up 14-8. We're going to take a little break here on the Averett Sports Network and get our bearings straight as we get ready for the second half of football. Again, Averett's up 14-8. We'll talk to you in a few minutes.
is inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon, with affordable tuition and 24/7 support. It all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
67 yards right there. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Bassett, football team around here had a kid last week. He kicked a 43-yard field goal in high school. Really? And Bassett. Oh, the Nelson kid. Yeah, he's a good hitter. Yeah. Probably I think he got he got P-line pitcher for years. Yeah. He's probably a soccer player. Luis is that Georgia? Yeah, I was talking with Nick up there. I think he's incarcerated. That surprised me more. I guess maybe they give him a little bit of a big head because I mean, I've seen it happen before. I kind of have a little bit of a, it's hard for me sometimes. you really, sometimes you got to work hard to check yourself and realize, hey, I ain't really a small fish here. The thing is, I mean, all five of the first country players are better than either side of that record. Yeah. I mean, we could run the table and obviously could push the score. You got to be competitive. I mean, I wasn't expecting GW to win, but I was not expecting a good hard-fought game. We were not in that game, obviously. It's not that low, but you said 46 to 14, yeah, and we scored late at the end. So, yeah. All right, well, let's talk to you. I was going to say, have a good second half. Thank you, man. Have a good second half, man. Thank you, Gavin.
Welcome back, everyone. We are about a minute or so away from starting the second half of action this afternoon, and a solid first half for the Averett Cougars, 14-8 lead, and really a couple of mistakes at the end of the first half. Sort of made this game a little bit closer than what folks were hoping. Averett had a 14-0 lead, and the football, an interception that went right through the receiver's hands and bounced into a defensive back's hands. Washington and Lee then got the touchdown and turned a bad snap on the conversion into a 2-point conversion. And then on the ensuing kickoff with 2 minutes left to go, the Averett receiver caught it right next to the sideline, stepped out of bounds at the 6. So whereas Averett might have had designs on getting points right before the half, they were not able to do that. They went into prevent mode, and the first half ended where it did at 14-8. Again, W&L won the toss and elected to receive. That means they will be kicking off. Had a show from the halftime. Arturo Ramirez, the kicker for Washington and Lee, was hitting 60-yard field goals in practice the second half of the halftime warm-ups. That was a fun thing to see. But Cougars presumably will get the ball first here. Number 28, the freshman, is back deep to receive for the Cougars. That's Jonathan Guest, along with number 13, P.J. Hopper, sophomore. Ramirez will get a left foot into this one. A high kick is kind of going over to the sideline where it did last time. And this time, a good job as the freshman will let it go out of bounds. Last time, Guess picked it up, but he was standing out of bounds. This time, that's it. As long as you don't make the same mistake twice, you're doing good. And Guess made the right guess that time. It went out of bounds, and it'll be first down and 10, Averett from the 35-yard line. In the first half, Bryce Jackson, only 4 of 10 passing. Not a lot of passing, but 41 yards, and he did get a touchdown to put him number 1 on the career touchdown list as he surpasses the 42 touchdowns career that Scott Parsons retired with in 2007. Cougars only picked up 63 yards rushing, really only 120 yards of total offense in the half, 39 plays for W&L as opposed to 27 for the Cougars. The defense for the Cougars was very much bend but don't break. We've got a double Watlington sighting now. Sean and Shy are in the backfield on either side of the quarterback, Bryce Jackson. Shy got to get the handoff, a lead block from his brother, and gets a decent yards out to just shy of the 40-yard line. He'll spot him at the 39, about a 4-yard pickup there. Brother blocking for brother that time, and Shy will get about 4 yards on first down. Cougars' leading rusher in the first half was Shy Watlington, 4 carries for 31 yards, including a 25-yard scamper. Again, Trevor Testerman with the touchdown catch. Another handoff to Shy. This time he's going to be well shy of the line of scrimmage as he gets popped by 2 defensive tackles right there. They read that play, did Washington and Lee immediately. And just like that, the Cougars are staring at a 3rd down and 6 from their own 39-yard line. See if we shift up personnel. Same personnel, but they will move Sean Watlington out wide to the left. Doubles formation. That's 2 wideouts to either side. Shy Watlington still in the backfield next to Bryce Jackson. Jackson sets him down. Puts Shy in motion. Straight drop back. Looking now to the left. The pass is caught. 40-yard line. That's Testerman trying to get upfield. Good job on the tackle, though, as he'll only get about 4 yards on the play. 3rd down along 3, and the Cougars will have to punt on their first possession here in the second half. A pretty good idea on the back there, but the Generals were in good position to snuff out the screen for only a couple of yards. It was Testerman's 3rd catch of the night, and the Cougars will have to punt. Punting in the first half, Mason Smith ripped off a 54-yarder, 2 punts averaging 47 yards. Now Mason standing on about his own 28-yard line, gets a good snap, all kinds of time to get it away. A very high and very tall punt. That's going to take a neutral roll, and the Cougars will down it at the 5-yard line. Mason Smith has been a weapon this afternoon. Great job on the field position as the Cougars will down it inside the 10-yard line. And the Cougars defense, which performed immaculately really up until the final drive of the first half, has the Generals pinned back on their own 8-yard line to begin their first drive of the second half. Just underway here. It's a 14-8 Averett lead. Cougars with 2 passing touchdowns, including 1 from their place kicker. Ran a fake field goal. Will Cavitas found Troy Testerman in the end zone, and that put the Cougars up 7-0 early. Romero in the backfield now, so he'll put a man in motion. Romero gets the handoff and got a little momentum. Looks like Jalen Russell might have had it in the backfield, but boy, I tell you what, Romero's got a quick first step. He goes from 0 to 60 in just an instant. And he had a lot of momentum behind him, and he'll be able to get 5 yards on the first down carry. Romero had 16 carries, 52 yards in the first half. Very busy first half of the senior. Stephen Murren, the quarterback, sets him down. A man in motion. Fake the handoff, rolling against his body under pressure. He's just going to chuck it wide, incomplete, as he was trying to find his tight end. Good job by the Cougars defense. Number 8, Seth Harden, did a great job of not over pursuing, of making the quarterback commit before he closed the final couple of yards. He did. It was incomplete, and it's a 3rd down and 4 now for Washington and Lee. Crowd getting a little loud now here on 3rd down. Only 1 wide out in this formation. 3 tight ends, a tailback. They'll put a tight end in motion. They'll hand it off to him on the motion carry, and he's inside for a first down and more. Tried to turn the corner to the 30-yard line. That time we were not able to contain the ball carrier on the inside handoff. Number 15, Josh Garcia, gets a big run on 3rd and 4 out to about the 33-yard line. And the Generals have gotten out of no man's land in terms of field position. Their initial first down of the second half will move them out to their 33. Cougars swap in defensive tackles. McKenzie comes in for Jalen Russell. Time a double wing formation. Flag on the play, a free play this time, as they will go through it to the right-hand side. The pass was caught. Was he inbounds? And they're going to say no, he's out of bounds. But again, Averett looked like they leaned into the neutral zone there, so that was going to be a free play for the Generals, assuming that it was an offsides infraction, which I believe it was. So another of those nagging mental errors, and a game where yards are at a premium. 5-yard penalty feels like a 15 in some other games. Both teams combined for only 300 yards of offense in the first half. That's not a spectacular number. First down and 5 from their own 38. Man in motion. Fake the handoff, back to pass is Murrin. He gets flushed out of the pockets, got some room to the outside. Flag on the play behind the line, and Murrin's got a very good run out of this. He'll be knocked out of bounds inside Cougar territory, but again, there is a flag way back behind the line of scrimmage, and it has all the looks of a hold, and it looks like it'll be coming back. That's a big, big penalty there. Again, Murrin, on the 2 times he's run the scramble drill, he's not very fleet of foot, but he's a strong runner. Big guy, 6'3", 210 pounds. But he was able to get upfield after that, but there's a flag on the play, and they'll back him up to the 28-yard line. And so the 1st and 5 becomes a first down at about 15. Averett clinging to a 6-point lead here at Daly Field. Double wing formation, 1 wide out to the right, and Romero still in the backfield. Motion man Romero gets the carry, gets into the linebacking core, gets a solid pickup. Tackle on the play, but number 3, Kerry Dickinson, but not before he picked up about 5 yards. Solid run from Romero, and it will almost put the Generals back in front of the chains. It's 2nd down and 10 from their own 33. Sun has finally dipped below the tree line here in the west, and we've got a beautiful night of second half action coming up here. Same formation. Motion man, keeper by the quarterback, Murrin, and he'll get ahead short of a first down out to near the 40-yard line, maybe just a touch behind it. Now they'll say he's down at the 40, but that's a solid 7-yard pickup, and it will set up a 3rd down and 3 for the Generals. A lot of 3rd down conversion opportunities in the first half. They were 4 of 9. Big play time for the Cougars defense. We'll see if they can get the ball back here, but Washington and Lee has started to assert their offensive line on this drive. 3rd down and 3 from their own 40-yard line. Double wing formation. Motion man Romero with the handoff. Crawford gets bottled up in the backfield. He gets to the line of scrimmage, and that was it. Middle of that Cougar defense. Totten and others doing a great job of snuffing him out, and we will see the W&L punting team here. Good job by the Cougars defense there. It looked like Washington Lee was getting a little momentum there, but they were not very imaginative on 3rd down, just again trying to win the line of scrimmage. Cougars won that battle. Hopper standing on his own 25-yard line to receive the punt. Line of scrimmage is the general 40-yard line. Good snap. Gets off a much better kick than he had last time. Angling, and it's going to bounce, and the Cougars will let this roll. It'll kind of stick down there at about the 22-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over. We played a little over 5.5 minutes of football here in the second half, and the score remains Averett 14, Washington and Lee 8. This will be the Cougars' second possession of the second half. Went 3 and out on their first set of downs here. 24, Gabby Soto, the Alaskan assassin in the backfield now. Andrews and Goffigan lined up to the right. Sean Watlington to his left. Bryce Jackson, the now all-time Averett record holder in career touchdown passes, will get the snap. Soto gets the handoff, and he's going to get roughed up in the backfield, get ahead maybe to the line of scrimmage, maybe not. I think he might have lost a yard on that play. One of the linebackers for W&L shot a gap that time and forced Soto quickly back to the inside and made the tackle. He's going to lose about 2 yards, close to it, back to the 21-yard line. The Cougars offense, 4 plays and negative yards so far here in the second half. Same formation, except they'll move Soto to behind the quarterback Jackson. Williams in at tight end. Jackson's back to pass. Fakes it short. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, trying to buy himself some extra time, looking for a receiver. Caught by Andrews at the 38-yard line. A spectacular vertical leap that time by Andrews to bail his quarterback out. That is a huge play for the Cougars. Wow. Andrews, the senior, showing a vertical on the outside. And the Cougars move it to their own 39-yard line, first down. They'll run the same personnel. Andrews still the slot receiver here. Soto gets the handoff, and he's going to get creamed a couple of yards into the play as the linebacking core and the free safety for Washington and Lee really stepping up now to try to stop the run. And they are setting themselves up for a possible play-action pass here if we decide to go that route. Cougars, though, much like WNL, a run-first team. They prefer to run the football. Give Soto about 2 yards, maybe 3 on that first down carry. I'll give them 3 because they move it out to the 41-yard line. Well, about 2, actually. Another carry by Soto, looking for room, and there is no room. He'll lose about a foot on that play. I think did we have a flag come in there? Yeah, we got an injury for sure at the end of that play. And this sounds like it's going to be a significant injury because I heard somebody just scream, "We need an ambulance." Oh, my gosh. One of the Cougars players who was not injured on the play is being helped. Obviously, they saw something bad there, and this is the part of the game you absolutely despise. This is a rough one. But they immediately called for the ambulance as soon as the injury was noted. And this stadium has become very quiet all of a sudden, and for obvious reasons. The WNL defenders are on the far side kind of taking a knee. They obviously saw or were witness to a very bad injury over there. Cougars are up 14-8. We're going to take a little break here. It's going to be an extended injury timeout here at Daly Field. And we'll take a little break and be back in a couple of minutes as the Cougars team huddles up in prayer after we've had what was quite obviously a very significant injury to an Averett Cougar on that play. We'll take a few minutes break here for the injury timeout and bring you back in just a couple. teammates surrounded the gurney as he was being taken off the field, and it's a hard thing to get back to playing football after that, but it's what you do. It was a loss of about 5 yards on the play. Did we have a penalty in addition to that? We're starting 5 yards further back than we were. So second down, about 15 for the Cougars as we return to live action. Soto is still the tailback out of this set. Bryce Jackson back to pass. He throws a long pass that's complete, but only a short pickup. Goff again on the reception that time. That pass had an awful lot of air on it. That was a long pass. And Goff again will get it out just for a few yards. It's still third down and long for the Cougars. Actually, he might have lost a half a yard on that long pass. But as soon as he caught it, he was out of bounds. And Cougars now facing a third down at about 16. Got to get the ball to their own 49-yard line. Tripped right for Bryce Jackson. One wide out to the left. Bryce back to pass, looking deep. Left-hand side's got a receiver. It is caught on the far side for a first down. Holy smokes. What a pitch and catch. Testerman on the catch. He has been the man in the receiving corps today. A touchdown catch earlier and a brilliant diving catch after a long pass from Bryce Jackson. What a play for Averett. First down now at the general 23-yard line. Wow. Same formation. Trips right. Soto still in the backfield with Bryce Jackson. They'll shift Soto up in the backfield, pre-snap, straight drop back from Bryce. Looking to his right, air, Sean Watlington in the end zone, and there's going to be incomplete and no flag on the play. Pass was a bit underthrown. Sean Watlington was trying to come back to it. There was some contact there. You could have possibly justified interference, but kind of glad they swallowed the flag on that play because, again, it was not a great deal of contact and the pass was badly underthrown. That was a pass that needed to be made a little bit earlier. Watlington was already well into his break that time. So that timing was a bit off, a darn good pattern. Watlington goes in the backfield now on the opposite side of Soto on a second down and 10. Sean's going to get the handoff, looking for room to the outside. There is nowhere to go, though. The Generals were right there, snuffed that play out. They'll force him out of bounds behind the line of scrimmage, and the Averett's got to come up with some third down magic again if they're going to get any points out of this drive. Yeah, they lose about 4 yards on that play. Third down about 14. Cougars at the 28-yard line, kind of on the cusp of what you would feel comfortable with from Cavanis. We'll see if they go for the whole gusto here or try to get a few yards to set up a field goal. Soto still in the backfield. Jackson is back to pass. Throwing it, just slinging it into the end zone. Up, incomplete, almost intercepted by number 1, Uno Christopher. That was a dangerous pass from Bryce. He had an awful lot of air up under that. Fortunately, the defender could not bring it in. And so here we go. We're going to set up a very long field goal attempt that'll end up being about 44 yards from the right hash mark. Again, this is sort of the cusp of Cavanis's range. Anything inside of 35 you feel pretty comfortable with. But again, a big kick in so far as it would give Averett a 2-score lead if he can make it. Averett late getting a player on the field, but they'll have plenty of time to get the kickoff here. Good snap. Kick is on its way. He topped it. This is going to be well short of the crossbar, and it's no good. And despite a superb third down conversion for the Cougars on that drive, they're not able to take advantage. 5:53 left in the third quarter. Cougars are still nursing a 14-8 lead. Good news is the Cougars were able to shift field position down or swap it out fairly well with that long pass to Testerman. But now W&L has the ball down by 6 at their own 27-yard line. Again, the double wing formation, that's 2 wings on either side of the tackles. Single back set, 1 wide out. Going to be option right this time as quarterback keeps it himself, gets upended at about the 30-yard line. Straight option, and tell you what, Murrin looked like he had no designs on pitching that ball. He was going to keep that one from the get-go, and he'll get about 3.5 yards out of it. Second down coming up for Washington and Lee. It's the third time we've seen him run a pure option play. Number 10, Romero, is the tailback. They'll shift to a two wideout formation out of this set. Still the single back. They'll put a man in motion. Romero gets another handoff. Good move to get past the linebackers. It's good job, though, by the Averett secondary to close in quickly. And it's going to be a third down and about 3 to go, maybe a short 3 here for the Generals. Again, the Cougars defense, with the exception of one drive, has come up with some big plays this afternoon. They might be asked to do it here again. They'll go back to their double wing formation. This is a run formation. Cougars shift up along the defensive line. Man in motion, handoff to the tailback Romero, and he's going to get just enough for a first down. Power football from Washington and Lee. 3 runs, and they get 10.5 yards. That's enough to move the chains, and the Generals, again, a team that loves the ground and pound game, moves the chains. 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. And the Cougars defense trying once again to bend but not break. Same formation on a first down snap. Murrin straight back to pass this time. He's got time. Throwing it right-hand side, has a receiver, but he overthrows him by about 2 yards. Incomplete, looking for number 8 on the streak pattern. That was Andrew Bland. Pass was well overthrown, and it'll be second down and 10. Tony Totten will shift into the game for the Cougars defensive front. 9, Jalen Russell. Number 7, Dondra Burris, the bookend defensive ends who have been very solid for the Cougars defense this year. So second down and 10. Ball is at the W&L 38-yard line. That same tight double wing formation. Right motion this time as they'll hand it off in the backfield, and that play was disrupted timing-wise, and Romero is only going to get a foot on that play. Maybe a yard very generously, but Cougars defense has now forced a third down and 9, and we have an injured Cougar on the field now. Again, game got a little delayed after a major injury to one of the offensive linemen for the Cougars. The injured Cougar is going to walk off the field under his own power. Number 2, Roland Norfleet, redshirt senior linebacker out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And so big play time for the Cougars defense. Third down and 9 for W&L, their own 39-yard line. And a team that is run first is in what's almost certainly a passing down here. They'll go empty backfield with the 2 wings, 2 wideouts to the left, and a tight end to the right. Fake the handoff. Quarterback Duran rolling against his body. He's going to chuck it downfield. He's got a receiver out there. We missed picking him up. Number 8 gets it first down to the Cougar 30. Big conversion that time by W&L as they ran the quarterback Murrin to the outside against his body. He did a great job of waiting for his receiver to slip out of the defender's view. Found him downfield. Number 8 on the catch, Andrew Bland, and that is a big third down conversion for Washington and Lee. They'll go back to the single back set this time with Romero in the backfield. Marcus Payne, one of the wing backs. Opposite back in motion. Romero, handoff up the gut. Not going to get too much. Tony Totten got it. Actually, number 40, Tony Totten got his mitts on him at about the 29-yard line. So Romero will only get about a yard or so on the play. Second down and 9. Cougars defense, again, being asked to come up with a big play here. Washington and Lee with a big third down conversion on this drive. Cougars are nursing a 6-point lead here in Danville, Virginia. Double wing set with the 1 wide out, this one to the right. Ball is on the left hash mark. Man in motion, handoff to Romero up the gut. He'll get a few yards out to near the 25-yard line. A little more room than he had last time. They'll say he went down at the 26. So about 3 yards on first down, and yet another third down opportunity for W&L. And again, they have demonstrated that this part of the field, they consider 4-down territory here. So basically, you got 2 plays to stop them from getting about 6 yards. So this doesn't really put them off sequence since they'll go for it on 4th down here. But they are going to go to one of their more pass-oriented formations, the empty backfield with the 2 wings. Tight end to the right, 2 receivers to the right. Actually, they shift the tight end to the left. Put Romero in motion. It's going to be an inside handoff, and the Cougars are there. They try to misdirection handoff. Number 7, Dondra Burris says, that ain't going to fly. It's going to be a major loss on the play, about to the 32-yard line. 4th down and 11, and we're seeing special teams comes out, and we know for a fact that their kicker, number 90, Arturo Ramirez, even though this is a 47-yarder, this is in his range. He hit a 60-yard field goal in warm-up. So in terms of whether or not he can get it there, don't you worry about that. He can. See if the Cougars can get a rush on this bad boy. A 47-yard field goal from the left hash mark. Arturo Ramirez, the left-footed kicker. Snap is down. The ball is on the way. Looks like it has the distance. Is it accurate? It is. A flag on the play, so hold everything. The kick is good. We'll see what the flag is all about. Running into the kicker. 5-yard penalty is declined. The kick is good, and still a one-score game, but it's a little closer. 14-11 is the score. 57 seconds left in the third quarter. Folks, we got a heck of a football game here at Frank R. Campbell Stadium. We'll take a brief break and bring you back for the resumption of play in 1 minute.
Is inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon with affordable tuition and 24/7 support. It all
Averett still with the lead, but it's a bit more narrow. 14-11. The Cougars have the advantage right now over WNL after an impressive drive and a very impressive 47-yard field goal. This time Guess is going to pick it up at his own 3-yard line, looking for room on the outside. He's got a little bit of room out past the 30-yard line. Roughed up there, about a 30-yard return for the freshman, Jonathan Guess. And the Cougars will start their third drive of the second half there. Cougars had one big play that they've hung their hat on here in the second half, a long pass to Trevor Testerman. But other than that, the Averett offense has been held pretty much in check here in the second half. 22, Draylon Martin will be the featured tailback on this drive. Averett was sort of their base offensive formation. 2 wideouts to the right, Sean Watlington, the lone wideout to the left. Back to pass is Jackson. It's caught by Goffigan. Good quick tackle that time by the defender, and it's going to be a moderate gain. Good job by number 7, Connor O'Malley, to bring back down Goffigan. Goffigan did a good job to go up and climb the ladder and get that. About a 6-yard pickup on first down. Line of scrimmage now, the Cougar 40-yard line. 27 seconds and counting in the third quarter here. Cougars will flip the formation. 2 wides to the left, 1 to the right this time. Hand it off to Draylon Martin ahead to the 40-yard line. Good cutback move, 50-yard line into general territory at the WNL 46-yard line. Super look time for Draylon Martin, and the Cougars will move the chains. That'll be the last play of the third quarter. Cougars are holding on for dear life. A 14-11 lead, but they got a little bit of offensive momentum as we head into the fourth quarter. We'll have that fourth quarter when we bring you back to Frank R. Campbell Jr. Stadium in a moment. sides of the field here as the Cougars will now be going towards the south end zone in the fourth quarter. Good run by Draylen Martin gives the Cougars 1st and 10 from the general 45-yard line. Cougars are leading by a field goal. This time a doubles formation with 2 wideouts to either side. Martin in the backfield. Martin's going to get another carry. He'll get into the linebacking course. Solid pickup on 1st down as he'll get it to about the 39-yard line. Good quick hitter from Draylen Martin, and the Cougars get about 5 yards or so on 1st down. The Cougars being very, very stubborn with that running game today, trying to establish the ground attack. They're going to keep the same personnel, but I believe we're going to go trips left this time. Indeed, that's the case as they move Jacoby Dixon to the offensive left side. So trips left this time for the Cougars. 2nd down, about 5. Outside blitz, quick pass from Dryce is incomplete. He and the receiver were not on the same page. He was throwing a slant and the receiver was running a streak. Miscommunication from one of the two parties there. And just like that, Cougars now have a 3rd down and 4. Line of scrimmage officially the W&L 39-yard line. And again, if you're Averett, you're thinking about the possibility at least of maybe you're in 4-down territory, or maybe you want to play field position. Tell you what, let's get 7 yards here and not have to worry about it. Draylen Martin, the tailback out of this set, doubles formation. Martin gets the carry, a little room to the outside, breaks a tackle. He's got a 1st down, tripped up at about the 32-yard line. He found a little room on the left offensive side. That is a big 3rd down run from Draylen Martin and a big conversion for the Cougars. Just managed to seal everybody in the middle there, and Draylen saw just the slimmest bit of daylight to the outside, and he gets it down to the 32-yard line. We'll run trips right this time. Again, the 4th wide receiver is another Danvillian, Jacoby Dixon. He's number 14. He's in the right slot formation. Another Danville product, Sean Watlington, all by himself to the left. Draylen gets the handoff, looking for room, cuts against his body. Solid pickup inside the 30 to about the 26-yard line. So give him a solid 6 yards on 1st down. Cougars offensive line, again, sans one member who suffered a bad injury in the 3rd quarter. Doing a pretty good job so far this drive. They will officially move it to the 27-yard line. And the Cougars offense has easily their best drive of the 2nd half working here. 14-11, Averett with the advantage. They'll go doubles formation again. Again, that 4th wideout is Jacoby Dixon. Draylen gets another handoff. Keeper actually by Bryce. He's going to get popped a couple of yards into the play. Not an awful lot on that, but it will move the stick forward a little bit. But the Cougars are now staring at a 3rd down and 3 from the 25-yard line. Again, if you're thinking field goal, if you're the Cougars, you would like to get a little bit closer. Cavanis topped a 47-yard attempt last time, a 45-yard attempt rather. Doubles formation, 2 wideouts to either side. Draylen Martin still in the backfield next to quarterback Bryce Jackson. Became the school's all-time touchdown pass leader earlier tonight. Pass is tipped incomplete. He was trying to find a slant pattern to Jacoby Dixon. Somebody at the line got a mitt on it. Fortunately, the pass falls incomplete, and it's 4th down and decision time, and I don't see no kicker. Needless to say, a humongous play on tap for this Averett Cougar offense. 4th down and 3 to go from the W&L 25-yard line. We'll tighten up the formation again. We'll bring a tight end into the equation. 81 Christian Williams is into the ball game. He goes mini motion. It's going to be a keeper by Bryce, and boy, he ain't going nowhere. They sold out against the run that time, and Cougars had no chance to get that to the line. That looked like it was going to be a read option from Bryce, but there was just no room there as the Generals defense comes up big. A promising Averett drive will produce 0 points, and Washington and Lee will get the football back with 12:15 left of the ball game. Averett hanging on to a 14-11 lead in what's become a super ball game here in Danville. And this run first W&L team will bring Romero back out on the field. He's already got 25 carries this afternoon and evening. And he is going to sleep well tonight, I bet. So here we go, 1st down and 10. Romero gets another handoff, flag on the play, and he breaks to the outside, does Romero. We did not bring him down, and he's going to get it to near midfield. Again, a flag on the play, so we'll see if there was any movement beforehand. But if it stands, that is one heck of a run from Romero, the tailback. I see Washington and Lee clapping, so it's going to be clearly against the Cougars. Evidently an offsides on defense. They'll decline that puppy, and they'll take the 22-yard run right out to midfield. That was good second effort from Jacob Romero. Not a big guy, 5'8", 180 pounds. Looked like we had him for a short game, but we just could not bring him down. So momentum now squarely in the corner of the visitors from Lexington. 14-11 Cougar lead. Ball is right at midfield. They'll put a man in motion. Run option left this time as Murrin looks for room. He will pitch it again. Good job to the tailback Romero, who'll get ahead for about 7 or 8 yards. Good job by Murrin to wait till the last millisecond before he pitched that one. And he's playing with a spring in his step. He ran that option play about a whole click faster than he ran the last one. This game is so much a game of momentum and execution. And you can see the momentum is now wearing the all-white unis of Washington and Lee right now. Generals moving downfield. They're at the Cougar 42-yard line. Early fourth quarter action here. Motion man Romero gets another handoff. He's going to get enough for a first down. Got about 3 yards on the play, 3.5. That's W&L football. Again, they love to ground and pound, and they are starting to assert themselves now in this drive. That was a tough drive for the Cougars not to get any points out of last time. That was a toughie. Such a promising drive, and you get 0 for it. First down from the Cougar 39-yard line. Double wing formation. Sole wideout is to the right. And Romero's been busy as a tailback, is not going to get a carry. Play action fake, back to pass. Lots of time for the quarterback, Murrin. He's just going to throw it to the peanut vendor as no one is open. It'll be second down and 10. Good job by the Cougar secondary to not buy the play action, to stay on the receivers. And clearly Murrin did not like his options there, so he just chucked it out of bounds. It'll be second down and 10 from the Cougar 39-yard line. Again, you're watching the Averett Sports Network. I'm Chuck Vipperman offering the play-by-play this afternoon in what's been just a super, super football game here in Danville, Virginia. They'll switch up the backfield, put Crawford, the freshman, in now. It's going to be option left as a forward pitch really to Crawford is he'll get a couple of yards. Cougars did a decent job defending that one. He actually got about 4 yards on the play. Didn't look like he got much at all, but they gave him the corner there, and you'll see he got out to about the 35-yard line. So third down and 6 now for the Generals. Cougars defense being asked to come up with one more big play here. Still a lot of football left. We're now at the 10-minute mark in the ball game. Third down and 6 for the Generals from the Cougar 35-yard line. They'll go into their 3 wideout formation, double wings, and an empty backfield. Merle sits him down. Murrin puts a man in motion, fakes it to Romero. Murrin rolling right, looking for a receiver, overthrown incomplete. He had a guy out in the deep flat, and he just could not make the connection. And it's fourth down and 6, and presumably go for it time for the Generals. Again, 52 yards. Their guy made a 45 or 47-yarder last time, but they're going to go for it. They will bring in a couple of new receivers. Crawford will come in. Romero is staying into the game. Needless to say, this is a huge play right here. Fourth down and 6 for W&L. Still a tight formation out of this set. Murrin back to pass. Time runs out. He'll throw it short to the left-hand side. Was the inbounds? He was just barely. Oh, man, what a clutch fourth down play by W&L. That was clutch. A timing pattern on the left-hand side, and Murrin delivered an absolutely perfect pass on a perfect route just inside the chains. That was a big boy fourth down conversion right there, and that is deflating for an Averett defense has got to be getting a little gas. They've been on the field an awful lot all afternoon. First and 10 now from the Cougar 26. Motion man, Romero gets the handoff. He runs it right up the gut, and Averett's defense, I think, is fighting fatigue right now. He'll get down to the 12-yard line, and boy, Averett's defense is going to have to finish a Hail Mary right here to keep these guys out of the end zone. Washington and Lee, again, this is their football, brand of football, ground and pound. Just keep coming at you, and right now I think Averett's defense is gassed. From the 12-yard line, first down for Washington and Lee. Crawford will get the handoff here, and he's going to get stuffed. Tony Totten says, welcome to Danville, as he knocks him back a couple of yards from the 13 to about the 15. Shot a gap that time, and it paid off, and it'll put the Generals behind the chains at about the 15-yard line. Cougars defense being asked to go deep into the well to keep these guys out of the end zone and to force, at worst, a field goal attempt. Murrin sets him down. He's got Romero in the backfield on a second down, about 12. Flag on the play as the Cougars were offsides. Oh, that was a bad mistake. Another mental error. Absolutely, completely avoidable. And a 2nd and 12 will become a 2nd down and 7. And that changes everything. Again, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's a mental mistake, and that'll drive coaches to an early grave. So they'll assess the penalty, 5 yards, 2nd down, about 7 to go. Ball is at the Averett 10-yard line. We'll have a couple of wide splits this time, one to either side. Still the double wing set and a single back. That's Romero next to Murrin. Man in motion. Romero gets the carry. Stop and go move inside the 10, about the 7-yard line or so. So he'll get 3, and it'll be 3rd down, about 4, long 4, short 5 maybe for the Generals. And once again, this Cougar defense, which has been on the field almost 2/3 of the afternoon, is being asked to come up with a big play. 7:22 in the ball game. Time is not yet a critical factor. But the Cougars are nursing a 3-point lead here in Danville. Single back set, they'll go to a double wing, 1 slot position formation. Put a man in motion. Flag on the play as Romero gets the pitch and gets into the end zone for a touchdown. Now we'll see what the flag's all about. And the way W&L's acting, it's going to be against Averett. Another offsides penalty against Averett. And the touchdown will count, and that is just demoralizing. Absolutely demoralizing. I think the Cougars defense just finally got gassed. They have been on the field for about 2/3 of this game, and the offense has not bailed them out enough. And this physical pound game by W&L, this war of attrition, if you want to extend the general metaphor, I guess, has worked out in favor of the Generals now. Get us a 17-14 lead. We have an injured Cougar on the play who's being looked at in the end zone. And they have just bludgeoned this Cougar defense in the second half here. Again, you can only go to the well so many times. Actually, it was an injured General on the play. It was Romero, the ball carrier, who got the touchdown. And he has just been a tough hombre. This kid is going to sleep like a baby tonight. He's got about 29 carries on the evening. He has been very, very busy. Conversion time, and again, this is a pretty significant one insofar as it will eliminate Averett from being able to tie the game with a field goal. Ramirez, we understand, perfect on extra points this year. He's a left footer. Snap, hold, kick is on its way. He scoops it through good, and it's now a 4-point lead for W&L. Their bludgeoning brand of football has paid off. They've gotten themselves out to an 18-14 lead over the Cougars. Cougars still have 7 minutes, though, to answer. Looking for a comeback win here in Danville. We'll have the kickoff and more in a minute. Exactly 7 minutes left on the clock. The Cougars trail for the first time this afternoon, 18-14. Just past the midway mark of the fourth quarter. Alvarez will boot this one, and every one of his kickoffs has been deep to the right, and where Jonathan Guess is lined up for the Cougars. Trying to pin him into a corner there. This time we'll go more to the middle of the field, and Hopper is going to take this one at the goal line and try a middle return. Now to the left side to the 20-yard line ahead past the 25. Solid return to about the 27-yard line or so. And so the Cougars offense, which has been sort of hit or miss here in the second half, and really all game long. We've had our moments on offense, but we have not moved the ball consistently against these guys. Now we're being asked to move the ball downfield, 72 yards. Cougars will start from their own 28-yard line. Number 25, Isaiah Litton will be the tailback for this drive. And usually we keep one tailback consistent through a drive. Last drive was Draylon Martin. This time Isaiah Litton's turn. Doubles formation, 2 wideouts to either side for Bryce Jackson. Litton gets the handoff, gets a few yards out past the 30, ahead 32, maybe the 33. So we're looking at about a solid 5-yard pickup or so on first down for Isaiah Litton. That's exactly where they'll spot him, at the 33. So again, clock not a factor yet. Still 6.5 minutes left to go in the ball game. Cougars will line up trips to the right this time. Same personnel, just shifted up. Litton is still the tailback. Fake to Litton and incomplete. Bryce Jackson and the receiver were not on the same page. Ball hit the back shoulder pad of Trevor Testerman. And again, that's a mental error. And that drives coaches crazy. Again, you don't know if it was Jackson or Testerman who was off script that time, but one of them was very clearly. And just like that, the Cougars are looking at a 3rd down and 5, again, thanks to a mental mistake. Same formation as they'll line up trips to the right. Testerman still the lone wideout to the left. Straight drop back from Bryce. He throws it short, incomplete. Pass was intended for number 80. There was contact made right as the ball got there, but Averett wants a pass interference penalty, but I think the defender got there right about the time the ball did. Testerman, the intended receiver there. And Cougars will reluctantly bring their kicking unit out. They wanted the flag in the worst way there. It was close, but I think he got there right as the ball got there. And, boy, the last thing we needed to do to a gassed defense was to go 3 and out and put that defense right back on the field. That is a big, big turn of events there. Averett's offense has just been held in check in the second half, and even when they did put a drive together the last time, they couldn't get any points out of it. So Mason Smith will be called on to get another booming punt away. This one's not as long, but it's very high. There's not going to be much of a return on this, but Averett runs into the returner, and another mental mistake for Averett. Another mental mistake. We are not good enough to overcome this many mental mistakes. Now there's some chippiness after the play there. Another flag comes in at the very end, and the Cougars quarterback is trying. And now a Cougar is taking a swing at another Cougar. Oh, my gosh. This is getting quickly out of hand here, as one of the Cougars tried to pull his teammate off of a general. The teammate jumped up and just threw a punch. You could lose the game, guys, but don't lose your cool. So we know there will be, again, interference on the kick return for Averett, but there was a flag that came in late after that, so clearly a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against something. Again, there was some jawing going on after the play, obviously. And, yes, if you're the Cougars, you're getting a little frustrated right now, no doubt. You've played a solid ball game, but you just can't get your defense off the field. And now your defense is right back on the field with an offense that has all the momentum in the world, and they are the kind of team that is built to run 6 minutes off the clock, which is exactly what the clock is showing here left in the football game. 18-14, the Generals have the lead and have all the momentum in the world right now. And the referees are breaking out their little little black books here. That means we might get an ejection here at some point. We'll see what that's all about. Again, a mental mistake there on the kick return. You got to be situationally aware, knowing where the receiver is. We'll see. Well, 2 fouls. Yeah, one of our players was disqualified for a personal foul that was committed after the play. And so a gassed Cougars defense will now be pushed way back into their own field position. So you add the 15 for the original penalty and the 15 for the unsportsmanlike. You add that all up, and the Washington and Lee Generals will start from the Cougar 35-yard line. Again, Romero, who scored the last touchdown, is not in the game. He was banged up on the touchdown run. And they have number 42, Crawford, the freshman, in the backfield. But expect some more ground and pound from the Generals. They'll hand it off on a jet sweep this time. And the tailback does a great job running against his body. Gets 10 yards and a first down. Looks like we had a good defensive beat on that play, but we overran it a bit. And number 41 took it back against the grain, and he'll get a first down to the Cougar 25-yard line. And again, this Cougar defense right now is gassed. There's no way they cannot be. They've been on the field 2/3 of the game. And this war of attrition right now is being won by W&L. They'll move it to the Cougar 25-yard line. Play clock still has 10 seconds left, and of course they're going to take every last second they can off of that. Crawford with another handoff, power football up the gut, past the 20-yard line to the 18. Spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Again, they have established their dominant running game here in the second half, and Averett's defense is just calling on reserves that might not be there. Tony Totten will come into the ball game at defensive tackle. 7 yards on first down, and this is what this W&L team was built to do, run out the clock. A lot of ground and a lot of pounding. I think that's still number 42 in the ball game, Crawford. Another handoff to Crawford. He'll get a couple of yards, maybe only one. Good job by the defense to summon up their reserves and hold him to about a 1-yard pickup. It's third down, a short 3, a long 2 now for W&L. And now you are looking at the clock as it inches towards 4 minutes. And, boy, if you could just get a stop here and force them to kick a field goal or try a field goal, that's about your only chance here. But I don't think they're going to get fancy here. They're just going to run their plays, and that's primarily halfback dives. Crawford is the tailback. Murren, the quarterback, sets him down, claps his hands. Got motion on the play. I think they had a man in motion at the start of the play, and it is going to be a false start against W&L. And so that will give the Cougars the defense a bit of a break. False start against the Generals will move the ball 5 yards, and a third down and 2 becomes a third down at about 7. Of course, that brings the pass into play here. 18-14 lead. Generals have the ball on a 4-point advantage. Third down and 7 from the Cougar 23-yard line. Cougars defense being called to make one more play. Crawford still the tailback. They'll split out 2 to the left. They're going to call a timeout here as the play clock was getting down to single digits as they were getting the play in. So W&L is going to talk about their third down play. And again, they're kind of at an interesting situation of the field. Again, they are in field goal range right now, no doubt. Arturo Ramirez, their fine place kicker, made a 47-yarder earlier tonight with room to spare. So whether or not they can try a field goal is not the problem. The issue for W&L is, do they want to just run a play to set up a field goal, or do they want to go for the jugular here? If they miss it, it's a 40-yard field goal attempt. And that's not automatic. I mean, Ramirez is good. And even if you do get the field goal, it's still a one-touchdown game at that point. It would be 21-14. So some interesting strategy questions for both coaches, but particularly for the W&L brain trust here. Do they want to try to settle up for a field goal, which is I don't want to say a semi-sure thing, or do they want to risk pass play of some sorts to try to get the first down and risk an incomplete pass and a 41-yard field goal attempt or a 40-yard field goal attempt? But you have options, and you're still in good position. 3:18 left to go. You got the ball in a 4-point lead at your opponent's 23-yard line. 3rd down and 8 now as Murren sets them down. Crawford is the lone back. They do have 2 wideouts to the left. Murren straight drop back. Looking to the left, he's flushed out of the pocket. He's got some room downfield. He'll throw it short. It's caught. 1st down and more to the 5-yard line to the 3. That pretty much settles that. He did a good job of buying himself some time on the outside. Found his receiver, and that is a dagger right there. 1st down and goal from the 3-yard line, and W&L is about to ice this game away if they can move it 3 more yards. Disappointing, very disappointing for the Cougars. A game peppered with lots of mental mistakes, which made Averett's difficult task near impossible to hold off a well-seasoned team like W&L. Murren, being the veteran, taking as much time off the clock as he can. Crawford in the backfield. Crawford gets the carry. Doesn't get much. He'll get to about the 1-yard line, shy of the goal line. And it'll be 2nd down and goal from about a yard away. Averett will call a timeout to try to preserve as much of the clock as they can. Again, if they get a touchdown, it's a 2-score game, and then the task becomes Herculean at that point. Again, best case scenario, you can keep them out of the end zone somehow here and force a field goal and get the football back with some time left on the clock and a 7-point deficit. But again, they get the touchdown and it's pretty much over. You got to get the football twice, and that is a very difficult thing to do, just to have 2 possessions within a minute or so, but not to say score 2 touchdowns, because you got to have an onside kick in there. Let's just say right now Washington and Lee is in a position about a yard away from essentially putting this game on ice. And disappointing for the Cougars. Again, built up a 14-0 lead over a team that was probably favored coming in. Played a stout first half, but a couple of mental errors at the very end. One of them a physical error. Again, a receiver had a ball thrown right into his hands, and it popped out of his hands and was intercepted. And then a bad decision on a kick return and some personal foul penalties here in the second half. A lot of offside penalties. We've made it easier for them, let's put it that way. Still not under center. Murren will get the snap, handed off to Crawford. He dives towards the goal line. He gets in, touchdown. So Crawford, the freshman, gets a touchdown, and that will make it a 2-score deficit for Averett, and with 2:22 left, that is a tall, tall task to try to come back from. Arturo Ramirez on for the extra point to try to make it an 11-point ball game. Number 80 is the holder. A bit of a low snap, but he'll get it down and get it in good position, and the extra point is good. 25-14, 2:22 left in the football game. Tough turn of events here in the second half for the Cougars. We'll see if they can summon a miracle. We'll bring you back for the kickoff in a moment. Hopper, the deep receivers for the Cougars. And Ramirez has pretty much booted all of them deep. Tries to pin them to the right on a couple of occasions, but last time Hopper picked it up from his goal line, had a decent return. Oh, I'd like to see a great return now. They'll kick it deep. Guess is going to pick this up at about the 2-yard line. Straight ahead, gets one block, hits to the outside, to the 25, to the 30. Again, a decent return. The Cougars have been doing a decent job on the kick returns as he'll move it out to about the 30-yard line. And the Cougars have the ball, but only a couple of minutes left to try to erase an 11-point deficit against a team that will be geared away from giving them a big play. We'll see sort of a semi-prevent defense here from the W&L Generals. I believe we brought Soto out in the backfield. Doubles formation to either side. Again, Bryce Jackson is a senior quarterback. Only a 3-man line this time for the Generals. Jackson steps up in the pocket, throws it downfield. That's a good pitch to Goffigan on the far side. He's knocked out of bounds at the 50-yard line. That's the best pass Bryce has thrown all night. Best one I've seen him throw all year, quite frankly. That was a good deep out that time. We'll get it to near midfield, out of bounds. Clock will stop right at the 50-yard line, a 20-yard pickup. 2:03 in the game. Again, not quite at the 2-minute mark, so the first down does not automatically stop the clock. Jackson is back to pass again. A short pickup by Andrews. He'll get ahead, 40-yard line, 35. Knocked out of bounds there, and a flag on the play. A little bonus there as the Washington and Lee Generals gave a little shove that they didn't need to. And now they're trying to separate players on the Averett sidelines. And so the Cougars will get 15 more after that 15-yard completion. And they'll have it at about the General 20-yard line. And tell you what, pretty snappy performance so far for the Cougars on this drive. And they'll get a break on a mental mistake from the Generals. And now all of a sudden you're in the red zone right about the 20-yard line. I believe they'll spot it. That's exactly where it is. Cougars have moved the ball from the 30 to the 20. Only a few seconds off the clock. 1:52 left. Soto is still in the backfield. Trips right this time for Bryce Jackson. Plenty of time on the play clock. A little blitz picked up this time. Looking to the end zone for Sean Watlington for a touchdown. That beautiful fade pattern was thrown perfectly by Bryce Jackson. Danville Sean Watlington picks up his 5th touchdown catch of the year, and the Cougars still have a heartbeat. I shortchanged them. That is touchdown number 6 of the year for Sean Watlington. In only 4 games. Cougars going to go for 2 here to try to create a 3-score spread. .22 Draylon Martin will come into the game on the Averett 2-point conversion attempt. Still got 10 on the play clock. Still got plenty of time to get this play off. This time they're going to snap it directly to him. Now throw it to Andrews. Flag on the play, and Andrews is going to be brought down. So we tried a little Philly special that time, but the Generals were ready for it, so the 2-point conversion attempt is no good. There's a flag on the play. Suspect it's going to be motion against Averett. And that, of course, will be declined, and the conversion attempt will be no good. Illegal motion is indeed the call against the Cougars. It'll be declined, and it will remain a 25-20 game. 1:46 left. You got 2 timeouts. So what do? Do you go for the onside kick, put your hands team out there to try to get it back, or do you bank on your defense? You got 2 timeouts, so there's one play they could run where you would not be able to call a timeout. We'll see what they decide to do here. But at the very least, the Cougars have made it entertaining here at the end. Hats off to the offense for a very, very solid drive and a great, great fade route by Sean Watlington and a picture-perfect pass from Bryce Jackson as he raises the bar for all-time touchdown passes even higher. It's the 2nd of the afternoon. Washington and Lee has their hands team up, anticipating an onside kick. Will Cavanis, the senior, will tee it up on his own 35-yard line, and we'll see if it's a straight onside or if they boot it deep and try to rely on their defense to make a play. Again, the Cougars have 2 timeouts, 1:46 left in the ball game, so that is still an option. But then you're putting it on a defense that is really, really gassed. Ball is ready for play. Here comes the onside kick attempt. It's high. There's a flag on the play anyway, and it goes out of bounds, so it would be W&L football. I believe there's going to be a procedure penalty on Averett. He got that good secondary bounce on the onside kick that you want to see, but I think they're going to say the Cougars were offside on the play, and I assume W&L can decline this if they like. Still a long discussion going on here for the officials to see if it's an encroachment penalty on Averett or just what the situation is here. Still a discussion from the referees. Yep, going to re-kick and move it back 5 yards, and we will try the onside kick again. So you don't have the element of surprise anymore because the kick, they know you're going to onside it here. Of course, I mean, again, you could choose to go deep here and put it on your defense. So we shall see. Whole lot of little numbers out there. That's your hands, guys. A few 80-somethings in there. Cavitas tees it up on the 30-yard line now. We'll see if he can get that fun little mystery bounce here that'll put it in the Cougars' hands here. Onside kick number 2. It's tipped. It's almost in the Cougars' hands, but it goes out of bounds. Oh, he had a good bounce. It bounced again off of a player's hands, and there was a snowball's chance there that the Cougars could get it. But it will be Washington and Lee football, and all they have to do is get a first down, and they will ice this game away. 25-20, the Generals lead. And again, because of the onside penalty, the recovery is going to be in Averett territory, but right now, again, Averett's defense has one job: prevent them from getting a first down. You can stop the clock twice with a timeout. You know, the officials are having another discussion now, and I'm guessing that's about ball placement here. Right now, they have it lined up on the Cougar 47-yard line. Evidently, that's where we're going to scrimmage from. And again, the task is now simple for this Averett defense, who has been on the field for just about 2/3 of the game this afternoon. You got to stop them from getting a first down. Again, we have not seen Romero since he scored the touchdown. He was injured while scoring. That's Crawford in the backfield, a freshman who's been their number 2 back this year. Murrin is still the quarterback. Senior sets him down. Going to hand it off to the jet sweeper and knock him down behind the line of scrimmage. Jalen Russell shooting the gap, gets him for a loss of about 3, maybe 4 yards. Cougars quickly call a timeout. 1:37 left in the ball game. And they have forced a 2nd down and 13. And again, if you're Washington and Lee, you're not going to get too fancy here, I don't suspect. Don't think you want to risk a pass and an incomplete. So, again, if we try to extrapolate the time, run one more play, Averett makes the tackle shy of a first down, call the timeout 1:30, run another play. If they don't get a first down, they can tick it off to well inside of a minute before they punt or do whatever. They could go for it on 4th down. So, Averett's still got a pulse, but there's still a lot that has to happen in their favor to pull off what would be a miracle here in Danville. Cougars defense trying to prevent a first down that would seal the game. 3 yards officially on the loss on the last carry. Still a double wing set with a single back. They do split 2 wideouts to the right. Hand off to Crawford. Just bull rushes to about the original line of scrimmage, and that's about it. He gets about 2 yards. Cougars quickly call a timeout, 1:30. So still the same scenarios are at play here. Assuming that there's a running play here, and if they don't get a first down, they can run the clock down to well under a minute and punt it with about 50-some-odd seconds left. And barring a big return for the Cougars, they will have a long field to go and only a few seconds left on the clock. So even if your defense does come up big here, a whole lot positive has to happen from this point on if Averett's going to pull the comeback. But they've done a great job of making this game interesting after that touchdown by the Generals that seemed to almost ice the game. And it may have, the way the game's turned out. But Cougars have made these last few minutes very, very interesting. So, again, no timeouts left for the Cougars. 3rd down and 11, about maybe 12 to go for the Generals. Ball is just on the Averett side of midfield, the Cougar 49-yard line. And we'll see if the defense can prevent a first down that would ice the game. And we'll see what W&L does. Will they risk an incomplete pass? Or will they just run it into the line and see what they can get? Crawford in the backfield. They'll move one wing right up to the front of the tailback, put a wide wing in motion. A straight pitch to the right-hand side. Cougars force it back to the inside, and they're going to tackle him well short of the first down to about the 46-yard line. That was a gadget play that almost stripped gears on the gadget. They do get a few yards out of it, but it is 4th down, about 6 to go. And they are lining up like they're going to go for it here. I think they're going to try to draw the Cougars off sides here or something. I think that's what they're going to do. They can burn 20 more seconds off the play clock here, so get it down to about 40 seconds here before they presumably call a timeout and punt the ball away. I can't imagine them wanting to risk running a play here and giving an Averett decent field position. Play clock at 2, at 1, and they will call a timeout and will presumably bring the punting team on with 40 seconds left to go. And unless Averett can get a super return out of this, they're going to have a long ways to go and no timeouts to get there, and only a few seconds left on the clock. So still a very, very tall order for the Cougars. But I just go back to the Dumb and Dumber line. So you're telling me there's a chance? Technically, yes. But hats off to the Cougars for making this a entertaining end to the football game. There's no quit in these Cougars. Their defense was just bludgeoned in the second half and ended up surrendering 2 touchdowns. But the offense on that last drive, little help from a personal foul penalty, but still good execution by Bryce Jackson. And the Averett defense has forced a punt. P.J. Hooper standing on about his own 10-yard line. Pretty much you stand there, and if it goes behind you, you let it go. If it's in front of you, let her fly. 40 seconds in the ball game. Good snap to the punter. Cougars get a bit of a rush. It's a high kick. Hopper is going to let this one bounce. It'll take a neutral roll at about the 11-yard line or so, and they'll down it with 28 seconds left on the clock. Lost a second there. But so, tall task coming up for the Cougars. 89 yards away from the end zone, 28 seconds to get there. Cougars trail 25-20 to Washington and Lee. Cougars trying to pull a miracle here in Danville. And it would be miraculous. Bryce Jackson, 5th-year starting quarterback, brings them out to the line of scrimmage. We'll see if there's a miracle in him. Tripped right for the Cougars. One wide out to the left. I believe that's Watlington. Defense will try to keep everything in front of them. Bryce is back to pass. Throws a deep out, incomplete. Trying to find Watlington. That was a pass was well behind him. Bryce was inaccurate on that toss. Like we were trying to just set up almost a deep out and out of bounds play, but don't make the connection. And the clock now shows 24 seconds left in the ball game. 2nd out and 10 for the Cougars at their own 11-yard line. Actually, technically the spot's about the 12. Still trips right for the Cougars. Straight drop back from Jackson. all kinds of time. He's going to sling it downfield. It's going to be incomplete. Boy, he had a streaking Sean Watlington there, and that was almost a Hail Mary type completion there. Sean had the momentum right up under his feet. The cornerback, or actually the safety, jumped up to try to tip the ball, and I think he got just enough of it. Bryce showing off that arm strength, but 18 seconds left, essentially 2 plays to try to keep your chances alive at this, and what would be a miracle finish. More wind sprints coming up now. Jackson throws it to the right. It's caught by Watlington. He'll duck out of bounds at about the 27-yard line to give the Cougars a little bit of room here. But now you're coming down to, really only 2 plays, and you're not really in Hail Mary range here because, again, you're at your own 30, not quite 30-yard line, 29. And that would take an NFL arm to reach the end zone there. So we'll see if the Cougars try one more quick pass play to set up a Hail Mary. Trips left this time as they'll flip the formation. Straight drop back from Bryce. He's got time. Begins to run out as he rolls against his body. Throw it short, incomplete. Watlington was very well covered at about the 45-yard line, and now the Cougars are down to what is quite possibly their last play of the game. Only 6 seconds left, and have to wonder if we're going to see one of those super-duper lateral plays here that we enjoy so much on YouTube. A split Testerman out wide to the right along with Watlington, so it'll be 2 to either side. 6 seconds left of the ball game. Cougars trail by 5. Jackson's going to throw it short. Andrews is going to flip it to Sean Watlington, who flips it back to Tavian Goffigan, who gives it back to Jackson, and he's going to get wrapped up. Try to pitch it out. He does. Ball's going to be picked up, though, and that's going to be the ball game. Cougars trying to find a miracle on the final play, but we were fresh out of miracles tonight, unfortunately, in Danville. Solid second half performance by the Washington and Lee offense. Ground and pound to the max. And they escaped Danville with a 25-20 win over the Averett Cougars. Solid effort by the Cougars. Looking for that first ODAC win against one of the so-called Blue Bloods, the longtime ODAC members. Was not meant to be tonight, but a solid football game by both teams. Averett's got some mental mistakes to work through. Again, lots of offside penalties and a couple of unforced errors in the second half, which made the job a little bit easier for W&L. But the final outcome is going to be 25-20. The Washington and Lee Generals will come to Danville and for the second year in a row beat the Cougars. Now the Cougars got drilled by these guys in Lexington last year, 31-0. So clearly a much more competitive ball game this year as the Cougars were able to give the Generals everything they wanted and then some. But the Generals, with a strong second half, will pull out of Danville with a 25-20 win. They move to 3-1 on the season, 1-0 in ODAC play. Cougars dropped to 3-1, trying for their first 4-0 start since the 04 season. Will fall 5 points short of that. Again, a 25-20 final score here in Danville as the Washington and Lee Generals and the Averett Cougars put on a good doggone display of football tonight for the faithful at Frank R. Campbell Stadium. This was good football, and it was spirited football, and unfortunately for the Cougars, they fell just a couple of plays short against a very solid football team. Cougars dropped to 25-20. Their record now is 3-1 on the season, 0-1, of course, in ODAC play. Cougars will have a chance to heal up tonight, look at the film on Sunday, get ready for Monday practice before they hit the road next week. 3-1 record now for the Averett Cougars. Super ball game here tonight in Danville as the Cougars drop a 25-20 decision to Washington and Lee. For everyone else here with the Averett Sports Network, I'm Chuck Vipperman. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone.